What's up? What's up? This your boy Scott Lewis, apartment gamer and more, Brooklyn Nets. Scoop. What's good? What's good? Not much, but I can tell you one thing. What ain't good is the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, New York Knicks. Excuse me. I mixed that up, but that's the point. It's mixed up. Uh, the Knicks are trying to acquire Kevin Durant, according to all reports. All people are just dead on it. And my question is, would it fit? Is it a win now situation for the Knicks? Because honestly speaking, firing a coach that took them to the Eastern Conference Finals to me just didn't work. It didn't sit right with me. And I know it didn't sit right with a lot of Knicks fans. From a Net fan perspective, you're going down a shaky road. It could work. It could work. You definitely need something. You need somebody or you need something. So change is not always bad. But there's a lot of moving parts involved. Whether you get the right coach for the Knicks to and this coach need to come in and try to do something right away. I mean, that's you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot. He need to actually I mean that what he needs to do is to get you to the finals. You asking a lot from a 1-year coach. Even though you have pieces, I didn't see the Knicks be going to the finals. I really didn't. And that's from a basketball fan. I just didn't see it happening. Had a great season. Carl Anthony Towns had a great season. This was a really good year for him. Wasn't good in the playoffs too much, but he showed glimpse of what he was doing all season. Do you honestly think that y'all can get Kevin Durant and keep everything you I mean, the Suns would be stupid to give him up for pennies on the dollar. It would not make no sense for them to do so. If they especially in a rebuild. They will want what Brooklyn got from you for Bridges. That's what they would. I mean, I would want at least something like it. You can't give me Carl Anthony Towns. You don't want him. So what makes you think I want him? What I need him for? I'm in rebuild mode. What sense do that make to you? I think when you look at every media outlet is dead on it, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't see how Kevin Durant will fit the Knicks without having a coach, the right coach. The situation is just crazy. The situation just don't fit. I don't understand why it doesn't fit, but it just doesn't. And I know as a basketball fan, forget about whether I'm a Knick fan, Net fan, Phoenix Sun fan, or whatever. It seems to me like instead of you just focusing on your bench and running back, which would be the obvious thing to do, you going for a superstar is not necessarily the right move to get you over the hump because you're going to have to give up something to get something. And yes, you already gave up too much. To be honest, you gave up a lot to get to where you got to now. So I just don't see it. I mean, changing the coach was the least of to get Kevin Durant. If you want to make a change, you got to be going for Giannis. Honestly, that's who you. I mean, he would be more to give up. Yes, you'd be giving up your defense, which you barely had this time. Offensively, y'all was great. I hate to tell you that, but I mean, from a Net fan, yes, she was good. What did you expect? What did you expect? What else could you want? You just wanted the opportunity to be in a position to compete. What else did you need? Let me see if I can get John in. I'm trying to get John in. What's up, John? Trying to get you in. Yeah, so I mean this is crazy. I'm reading the reports and what I mean, I don't even know where to go from there with all that's going on. It's just turmoil. The media spins everything out of place. Everybody's talking about nothing that's not really happening. I'm quite sure they need a new coach. Yes, they need a new coach. Now you're forced to get a coach that has been there at least or fit the program that you're trying to get Giannis or Kevin Durant on the team. But what are you giving up to get this? What possibly do you have that you can give up without making a setback as far as the team is concerned? I just want to know. Do you want to make a deal to try to get something for nothing? That's not going to work. That's not going to work. I mean, if Phoenix do it, I mean, that would be great for you. But I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. It's just a cluster fuck up messed up stuff that's just going on with the New York Knicks is crazy. My feeling about it is that Kevin Durant would be a good pickup for the Knicks, but will it work? I mean, as far as the Knicks are concerned, they need another team to get involved. I don't know who. I don't know. I just don't know who. But it's somebody else got to give up something for this to happen in order for it to work. For either Phoenix Suns to want to make that move. Other than that, they're not going to make that move. Because I think Giannis is still under contract for more than 2 years. Milwaukee is not going to give him up for nothing. You asking them to give up a generational player right now to where they have to possibly see you again with that same player. I'm trying to connect them, but he keep jumping out. I don't know. Don't know why. But yeah, they would have to give up something so much to get in, to do what they need to do. So much they have to give up. I trying to figure out. I've been looking at the numbers. Number wise, as far as salary cap, they could fit somebody else because they can dump some. I mean, they'd be stretching it. But like I said, they put all their chips in. They put all their chips in before that, and they thought that was enough. They put all their chips in, and I'm not against any team putting their chips in to try to win. Of course, that's what you should be trying to do. You should be trying to win. Just remember that you're giving up a lot. You're giving up a lot. You're giving up your future. You got to remember that now. You're giving up a lot. So it need to work. And getting another coach is probably a good move. It could work. It could work. Doesn't mean it will work, but it could work. But who are you going to get? You should have somebody on the table. I wouldn't have made that move without having that on the table already. Why would you have that make that move to get all this publicity for nothing? For something that you know you're going to get criticized for it. You knew that. You had to know that. You're just in the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't get you. Okay, there you go. What's up, LB? Hello? LB?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's going on, man? How you been?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How's it going with you?
Okay. I was just talking about the Knicks, man. I can't believe they going for my man, Kevin Durant. They trying really hard.
Yeah, well, I guess he's got to do something. And now I thought he disliked the Knicks, so
I thought so too. From what I know how Kevin Durant is, he doesn't deal with the media well.
yeah.
So why would you come to the Mecca?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe
Money?
he doesn't have any choice in the matter
Oh, okay.
because he doesn't have a no trade, so
Right, right. And he has about 2 years left, I think. I'm trying to find
if
his
that,
thing.
I feel like it was one, but if it's 2 years,
Uh
I'm
for
not
the
sure.
for the Knicks, as far as I'm concerned, they should be going for Giannis.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Giannis
But
said
they
he's
don't
good, so.
have nothing to give him. Milwaukee,
Well,
what?
I guess what's the name is cheaper. Um, KD is cheaper than
Of
Giannis,
course, yeah. I would think
so
so.
that's probably why.
Oh, okay.
That I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. They probably, they'd have to give up so much for Giannis that they wouldn't even have a team probably. But,
Right.
yeah, it doesn't.
I
I
mean, now
don't know.
personally speaking, when you look at it, the KD don't
And
like
I
criticism.
agree with Ice. He's
Yeah.
not going there, but
Yeah, I don't think so neither. I think that's good wishing and good thinking. But I don't think that's something that he would want to do.
sorry, you there?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, he has 3 years left on his contract. He's definitely going to stay at Milwaukee because even if the Knicks tried to give Milwaukee something, even if they did, even if they tried to give him something, it's no way Milwaukee would take less than something. They would have to take a fair. You're giving up a generational player. You're not going to give up a generational player and not get something out of it. You're not taking less just because he say. I mean, as a GM, I don't care how he feel. He ain't got to play, but I'm gonna get my monies out of it. That's what I'm saying. There's no way I'm making that move with somebody I would have to face in the playoff. No way. No way. You have to give up everything. And I don't think they're in a position to do so. So, yeah, I definitely see him staying in Milwaukee, Ice. I definitely see him staying in Milwaukee. And he ain't got a choice in it. I know he got 3 years left on this contract. 2 years, I think, on the player option. So, yeah, LB,
Hey, what's up, man?
not much. Yeah, well, he definitely got a 2-3 year. I think he got a 2 year contract with a 1 year option as far as Giannis is concerned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Giannis.
Yeah,
You
Giannis.
mean he has 2 seasons,
Yeah.
but he has a third is the option? Is that what
Yeah,
you
I think a third is the option.
Well, I think but Giannis, see, I guess were you on yesterday with Breezy?
No, I wasn't on last time.
Okay, okay, because I was going out, man. I was going to some DJ Spencer thing, because it was because today's Prince's birthday or whatever.
Right, 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 right.
So I went to some function like that. But before I headed out, I went on Breezy's thing, and then I was like lambasting them because I was saying, I guess LM was on there, John was on there, uh, uh, Jay was on there, but I was saying, and shout outs to all of them, as well. But I was saying that, John, you got to stop all of this narrative about every time somebody loses, they need to go try to get a ring.
Right.
I'm saying some guys is just happy with just playing, and they'll let it fall where it may, and they're like, nah. Oh, I know it was Leaf was on there, and he was going off. You know how high strung he gets. He's
Yeah, he
like,
gets
nah, man, they the ones that turn it into they pimping themselves. They the ones that's turning into the hoes and blah blah. And I'm like, nah. What I'm saying is, it's like Denver loses, then y'all like, oh, now they have to hurry up and do something before Joker leaves, and I'm like, Joker might be happy with his one chip, and he
yeah,
might be happy just stringing up MVPs. And it's like not everybody just wants. That was my take. And Ice was
yeah,
on there, so he knows. But it's like not everybody is chasing chips,
yeah. That's
and it's
true.
like every time something happens, John is saying, shout out to John, but John is saying, oh, so and so did this, so that means they gotta leave. Oh, that means you're never gonna win if this and that. And I'm like, Giannis might be happy in Milwaukee.
He might be.
Like, I mean, it's like they don't take into account that guys want to win, but they
Right,
also want to get paid. So I think I flipped it and turned it into something like where everybody was against me because I said the thing with Brunson is, the thing with I said like what Brunson did and not taking the money and stuff. Oh,
right,
I know what I said. I brought up LeBron and I said, now if LeBron was really interested in just winning, he would turn down that 52 million, and
right,
he would just sign for the vet minimum and go get his championship.
right.
They like, nah, you can't do that because that's messing up the money. Would you do that with your boss? Would you take less? And I'm like, I'm not LeBron.
Right.
It's like y'all fail to understand all the different streams that these guys have.
Right.
Salary is just one thing.
Right. They have
So
other
it's not.
income.
He could afford to. He could afford to,
Take on a lower
to not,
salary.
to get on a vet minimum, and then he'll make that money up somewhere else.
Right. They can lead him to more money other places.
Exactly, and that's why I was saying. That's why Brunson did what he did,
Yeah,
because it's
there's
funny.
definitely
As soon as Brunson redid that contract, and they was telling me, I think Ice was saying, yeah, he lost like 100 million. I said, but you know what? As soon as he did that, then you see them popping up on commercials all the time.
everywhere, all the time.
And I said, you don't know how much money
He made
they
from that.
gave his dad. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. There was other streams of revenue that was coming in,
Yeah.
and
And
he took
nobody
that.
knows from the
Right.
NBA, from every sport, nobody knows how
How
much
much is that?
money betting is.
Right,
You
right.
know, ESPN even got their own. Everybody got their look. It even had that segment on TNT, right, where Barkley and all of them start talking about how they're betting, right?
Yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Almost every channel, Fox bets, everyone has that. So, I'm glad Ice is coming on. So,
yeah.
yeah, because
Ice.
we could, if he wants to go more into it, we
Right,
can.
right. Ice, you on?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Yeah, I was
anyway,
just. Go ahead.
Ice, how you feeling? I was just explaining that like this is like a false narrative when everyone just makes it so that everyone is chasing a chip and they're trying to chase a legacy. Because it's like, yo, sometimes dudes just want to play, they want to win, they want to make their money, they want, but the thing is, we're making it like, oh, everybody's got like we counting chips. Like you got to get four, you got to get five, you got to get six. It's like, yo, sometimes it's just not like that. It's not even worth it to the dudes to uproot their family sometimes.
Right, right. You don't take their family in consideration.
To
You
that
think
point, right? I heard NBA players say they know who, what organization is really looking to win, and most of them ain't. The organization themselves ain't looking to win. So they said, I think they said it is about six realistic teams every year that's looking to win. And
right,
you can, and by the, like when they start the season, you might feel like, you know what I'm saying, you feel good, and then once you look around the league, you already know who's going, you know what I mean, what team is going to be there. So
right,
they say realistically, what we think ain't what they know. You know what I mean? And I'll be
right,
listening to them because that's fact. Every team is not looking to win. Every player can't. It's like impossible for every team on everybody to try to win a chip every
And
year, bro.
and by the same token, I can say not every player is looking to get a chip either. And it's like there's nothing wrong with that. You
no,
know what I mean? It's like they all got ruined by that what was that, the former Jets coach? You play to win the game.
right.
Sometimes you play just to have fun, to
Because
see
you
how
love the
good you are.
game. Because you love the game.
Exactly. That don't mean that, you know, we all know people, there's people in the park that lose game after game after game, but
But
they
they ain't
still
not
get picked.
playing.
But they still get picked, right?
Right,
When other people got winners, they still pick that person because they could play, you
right.
know?
Yeah, and
So
you can see that somebody wants to play. You can see
like
it.
me, I was a scrub at basketball, but I had friends who could play.
Right,
So when I played with them, I stayed on the court a long time because I knew my role, I knew my limitations. But there was people that was five times better than me that he had to keep getting picked. You know what I'm saying?
right, 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 right.
That's how that's a team sport for you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I definitely think that when you look at it, like you said, the revenue you can't. There's no one way that the as far as the Knicks are concerned. Because I wanted to bring up Brunson's payments when he took that pay cut. I said, why would he do that? But then I didn't realize his father works there. And then, like you said, all those commercials in New York region, all that revenue that he got from those commercials, those were things that they took in consideration when he took that cut.
No, I think that those things are just separate, right? As far as when you this is what I'll be saying about that, right? When you got your job and you sign up for your job, that money is that money,
Right.
right? But if they hit you with you can make it back, you don't make back the hundred, you don't make back the 100 million. You know what
No,
I'm
you
saying?
don't
But
make
but
that
but
back.
Ice, the reason the reason that I say it's different is because I remember you compared that to me
Yeah,
and my job, right?
right.
But I'm saying my job doesn't offer me. I mean, outside of my job, I don't. It's like there's no revenue stream that I can make. I mean, sure, I could go on YouTube or one of the things, but what I'm trying to say, there's no cross promotion. There's nothing that I could do that could make it for them. Like, let's be honest. If a lot of these dudes wasn't NBA players, nobody would be listening to their podcast. Nobody would be watching anything that they do. So their main thing is they're known for basketball. So that's what I'm saying. Like, and so my job, even though I might be known for what I do at my job, it's like I can't make that money. I mean, so it's a false, like what I'm trying to say, it's not a good analogy. It's not a good comparison because I can't. They can make more money on the outside than I
No,
can.
no, it's a good comparison. Here's why, right? Because the way that you look at it is a certain way, but the way I look at it is right. We all go to work and we all do podcasts and streaming. So if streaming is my second way of making money, if I was making money, you know what I'm saying? I would say, all right, you know what I'm saying? I could do this over here and then I could come back over here and make this. But that's not like that's not how you're supposed to look at it. If I'm doing my job, right? And my job is offering me a 100 million. Well, that's what I'm taking because that's what's being offered to me. I'm not looking at my side hustle, right? I'm not looking at the side. I'm focused on, all right, I'm
But
hooping
what
right now.
about?
Now, hold on,
Okay,
hold on, hold
go
on.
ahead.
I'm hooping right now. Just for talking purposes. I don't wish this on nobody. Say that he had this season a basketball career ending injury.
Yeah,
And he lost that and he didn't take that 100 million. Now was it worth it?
yeah. But see, I'm glad that you mentioned that because also you got to look into the fact that if he had if he
Mhm.
had a career ending injury, he still owed that money. Now
Not the one
me,
that,
now
not the one that
me,
he, right? Not the
yeah.
100 million that he let
Oh
go.
no,
Not
no,
the
no. I'm saying whatever he signed for, right?
right,
He
right, right.
still
All right,
owed that money
I got
guaranteed.
you.
But what I'm saying is, if God forbid I get a career-ending injury tomorrow,
Uh huh.
I'm on disability. But I'm not getting no guaranteed freaking
Right,
salary
right. But
for years.
right, but you still miss
So that
out on
already
a hundred
makes us
million out of
different.
your check, though. That 100 million you won't be able to get back if you're injured.
No, you'll never get that 100 million back.
Right,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah,
no. I'm saying you won't get it back from the source that's supposed to pay you for your
Right,
basketball services. I
right.
right.
understand that, but what I'm also saying is,
Uh huh.
like, because even when you're talking about the other revenues of stream, some of us have jobs where we can't even do, like, my stuff is discouraged. Like, so, like,
Yeah.
if I do
Yeah.
social media and stuff, they could actually come back and um try to terminate me or something based on something I might say or whatever, and this and
Mm-hmm.
that, like, where it's like it's less freedom than, say, those guys have for their job.
Right.
Right. Right.
But
So
I'm
that
saying,
also, so that's why I'm saying it's like kind of like it's not a good analogy to me because I understand when you're saying they're losing that money, but the
right,
thing is, you weigh that against, well, how much money can you actually make? I don't think Brunson is stupid. I don't
uh,
think his agent is stupid. I don't
right.
think, but I think what he did, and I don't think he wants to win more than the other guys in the league. I think it's equal, but I think they found a way to say, look, we can circumvent the salary cap by you turning down 100 million. And he said, okay, as long as I get it some other way, like maybe my pops.
I'm gonna say this too, right? Because I heard Gilbert talk about this. Gilbert said I did the same thing, right? And he said once I stopped playing basketball, do you know how, as a businessman, do you know how it is? how hard it is to make $1 million.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, right? That's my point. Once if there's something that stops you from making basketball money, as
Once you
simple as you
once
can
you
make
stop being
basketball money. Yeah, like
yeah
that money, you would sit there and like, damn, I turned
Yeah,
down
yeah.
100 million. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But also, I'm gonna say something else.
Huh?
Two things about Gil, and it's like one is like in his mind, he's very honest, he's very frank, but also he's also not the sharpest knife in
In a nice
bunch.
pack.
So what I'm saying is, even though he says certain things. Some of the things he says are the God's honest truth, and it definitely is his truth. But also, some of the takes that he has are just out there and wild, where it's like it doesn't make sense for other people, and that's why some guys come on, like when he says certain things, and they'll say, yo, your mentality is you a loser because you think you better than this guy because you scored 40 and he scored 20, but his team bounced y'all by 10. But you think that you the winner. And it's like, you know, it's like certain things like that where it's like when he does that, it's like, yo, come on, man. I mean, I get a lot of insight from him from actual stuff, but it's like some of their takes are just really wild as well.
Yeah,
Right.
for the views. He says he has to do that for the views. But you know what I'm saying? You know when Gil on some real stuff and you know when he just wilding out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the question I have is how do they see? I mean, when I listen to some of the sports commentators and other podcasts talk about bringing Giannis on the team, the question on the Knicks is the question is how they going to pay him? How they going to pay everybody? Are they going to ask players to take a cut? Are they circumventing money? What are they doing as far as money is concerned? Because clearly the league did not want a team to be built just on, you know, buying people.
Right. So no, they ain't gonna have to let go people, they're gonna have to trade people, and they're gonna have no bench again. That's
Yeah.
that's what's gonna happen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, Cat and him make similar money.
Oh, okay. So they would let Cat go.
Yeah, he'd have to be in the trade. Cat's only 30. I mean, they around the same age, so
Yeah, I think Cat is younger. Yeah, but
yeah,
see,
maybe he's
Cat's
29.
game. I mean, I don't know. That
So that would have to happen. But the thing that you wonder about is what's the name? Giannis has the more cachet. He's the better player. So
he by far.
even if their salaries are close, it's like what the heck is Milwaukee accepting
What are they
besides
gaining out of it? Right,
besides Cat? Like they need. It's like you would think they had our draft picks. You know what I mean?
right.
Fact.
But they don't.
But they don't. And this is the point that they trying to say, well, they'll take basically what you're doing is taking 50 cent to the dollar.
But you know what else? You know what else I'm gonna say? We can't, even though the reason why you can't, like I know a lot of Nets fans want to dismiss it, like, yo, y'all are delusional and this and that as far as the Knicks. But the one thing that we know is we would have said the same thing if they before the Luca
Our
trade.
moves.
No,
That's
I'm
what you,
saying before the Luca trade, we would have said the same thing. There's no way, like, because remember, that didn't even come out as a rumor. The deal just happened.
right.
That was it. So, but if there would been rumors like, yo,
But
we'll
they
give you we'll give you Anthony Davis,
right. We would have been like,
all of
hell
us would have
no.
said that's crazy.
Yeah.
What else are they
But
giving up?
there was more to that trade than
No,
just
but that's my point.
right.
Maybe the league is trying to make it so Giannis could come here, and they're like, "Cat is enough."
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's not like the league would suffer with that move
Yeah,
as
only
far as money is
Milwaukee.
concerned. But because the revenue will be there, but that I see it.
Isn't it telling that he doesn't want to go, like I'm saying, when you think about winning and you think about structures of teams, isn't it kind of telling that he doesn't want to go, like Giannis doesn't want to go to like San Antonio? Like, because you would think, man, you got a good shot there, or even Houston. You would think that, man,
He
you
would make
got a
Cruz and
tax
hit.
free state. You
Right.
got young talent. It's
Yeah.
like, why
Yeah, it's
wouldn't
more
you want to
money.
go there?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, well, he bought a home here in New York, from what
Yeah,
I heard.
but why
Yeah,
wouldn't he? I'm
want to go
saying
to some place where
basketball
he can
wise,
win. Right.
if those two are giving you the best shot
To
at
win.
to
Right.
win, you can't say it's because the West is loaded. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's like,
that's a poor excuse.
yeah,
That's a fan excuse because they want him to stay on the East.
yeah.
That's what it is. The East teams really, really want him because the
And
East
and
is
I'm
weak.
and while you
I get it
saying that, Ice, I'm gonna say something else. Nets fans sound like losers when
because
they keep talking about this is our opportunity because Tatum is hurt and blah blah blah. When you trying to sneak in, and
they
that's the one
usually don't
thing I
work.
could respect about Halliburton when he said, "Yo, I want to go up against SGA. I'd rather play the best. They the best team in the league. Yeah, I want that. I
I
want that
want that
shot."
smoke.
And
I
that's
want
what
that
I'm
smoke.
saying. I
Right.
could respect that. And that's what I'm saying. Like Nets fans sound like losers when they're like, come on, we got to go all in because Boston is like this and that. Like,
Everybody's
come
weak.
on, man.
Yeah.
We trying to be good for the next 10 years. We ain't trying to look at no one shot opportunity.
uh, I don't. You know what? You're right about that. They act like they want to sneak in.
Yeah.
No, see, the thing is with Nets fans, they want to
Well,
do
right.
things one way, and then their mind change when their eyes see things another. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they want to build slow, and then it's like, wait, they're hurt, and everyone's leaving. Maybe we got a chance. Let's speed it up then. You know what I mean? That's how they mind work. They
Right.
can't stick to one thing. They just want to, okay, let's do this here. Okay, summertime's coming up. Everybody's trading. Let's do this here. You know what I mean? They can't stick.
And
And
that's
Giannis
why
is the same.
they want every team star, too. They like, yo, let's get this person. Oh yeah, Luca hasn't signed yet with the Lakers. Maybe we could convince him. Come on, man. If you
They
Luca,
want to win.
if you Luca and you out there in LA, why the F would you want to come to New York?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
media
no.
always hyping stuff up. I mean, people, fans, but you get to hear what the fans feel like because of the way social media is. That connection now, people are real hype. They got all kind of views. Some of them don't make no sense. Some of them ain't gonna never happen. It's just what it is. We in that era where information is constantly being bombarded on you that's not true. You don't know which is true and which is true. But clearly, Giannis might like being at Milwaukee, like you said. He doesn't really want to leave. He probably would prefer to go west. But the narrative being kicked around and this New York market is powerful as
Yeah,
far as getting information out. They'll
yeah.
constantly hammer this narrative that he wants to come here. It's the best place to be. You can win a
And,
title.
and see, that's the part when I'm saying like with Gilbert. He also believes in that. Gilbert hates small markets. He
Yeah,
hates certain cities that he knows. He may know the deal as a player, like what the
right,
city is really like or whatever. But he just want, because remember, he's from LA. So
right.
he has that big city bias.
That big market thing. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like, of course, he want. If it was up to him, he's like, what's the name? He's like Stephen A. If it was up to him, remember when Stephen A. said, my favorite finals would be Miami versus LA because I get to chill in both of those nice tropical places and this and
Right.
you know, and I'm saying it's like all the women, all of that and everything, and it's like, yeah, that's how Gilbert is too. But it's
Yeah, no,
like,
but Giannis did say that he want all the international people to be in big markets, but he also doesn't like stacked teams. You know what I mean? That's the thing that he doesn't like. He don't want to be on a stacked team. So I think Milwaukee, with him being in Milwaukee, he want to stay there. But you know what I'm saying? The organization, like he said, got to show them that they trying to make a winning team. You know what I mean? Put some people around them so they could win without having a super stacked team. You know what I mean? That's the way he look at it.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, but with that in mind, that would mean he probably say, "Yo, you gotta almost gut the team and get me some picks, so I can get some, and then I'll be good, and then they'll be good, you know." But it's like it's hard to do that because they already gave up so much already. You
Right,
know
right.
that Dame trade really hurt them, and so did the one before that. You know,
Yeah, that Dame trade hurt. That hurt a lot.
and so did the Drew one. Yeah, the Drew
Yeah,
one
that
was their downfall.
that led to the beginning of the downfall.
Yeah,
I think I think they
And
should have never got rid of Drew.
nope, and Chris getting hurt. That's another one that
yep,
put
Yeah.
yep,
a damper
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah, they had a lot of misfortunes, but that happens with teams. But they didn't put themselves in a position to rebuild, even if that happened. So that's why I'm against trading your pick so much. Now if you going all in, if you going all in and you don't win, you lost. You lost. Because you're not gonna
Yeah.
get back anytime soon. It's
yeah.
gonna take a while.
And when you say that, I'm thinking because you know what's funny is like they didn't Golden State didn't sign Clay, right?
Right.
But I'm feeling like and I'm not saying that was the right move or the wrong move, but what I am saying is they're gonna feel that any season now soon.
Right.
Like why the hell did we give Draymond all that money?
Right.
And why did we stick with him instead of retooling around Curry with some younger guys or something, you know?
I can already tell you why.
Yeah,
Right? It's because the big men that they chose didn't work out. They chose Wiseman and they got
yeah,
the
Yeah,
other
it
big
didn't
dude.
work. It didn't work.
So it
It
didn't
did.
work for them. So the next thing to do is because, like you said, Clay ain't want to take a pay cut neither. You know what I
yeah,
mean? He feel like he need to take a pay cut. So we gotta make a choice. Draymond is our center somewhat. You know what I'm saying? He do a better job than the big guys. So let's stick with him, and then maybe
yeah.
see if we can
Yeah,
do that.
they did
Well,
take the time.
it's weird because like Wiseman was a flop with them,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you get Kaminga. Kaminga proves that he's a talent, but then you bury him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think because of what his agent probably worked out with the team that turned them sideways.
Yeah,
So, once the team turn their back on you as far as money is concerned, it's hard to get it back, boy. You might have to go somewhere else. The same
yeah, and that's
reason.
what I was saying. That's what I was saying with Kaminga. If I was him, I would just sign a short deal, show people I could play, but get the hell out of there.
Right,
I,
right,
I would. There's no way. I mean, there's no way I would stay with them because he could sign like a Cam Thomas deal, like like if they're saying you know 3 for 90 or whatever, this and that. But I'm
right,
saying you have no guarantee. I mean, how can you have trust in this coach that he believes in you?
right. That
So
trust is lost. It's actually the trust is lost with the organization, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. For me, if I was him, because you know what, in the end, and this is what I be trying to get through to John sometimes is, in the end, like maybe and it could be just an old school mentality, but I'm like, players want to play. They want playing time.
Right,
You want to be able to show what you can do, and it's like, are you gonna really accept like the Jonathan Kaminga, is he gonna really accept the money to freaking not play and only get 15 a game with them, or
Right.
does he want to go somewhere even if he may not make the playoffs, but he's averaging 25 and getting his real money?
Right. Right.
So I mean that's the thing, that sometimes people they underestimate that, and we seeing it now trickle down ice to the college, because with the portal and with the NIL, it's like you got to really start thinking. Do you really, you know how they used to stack the teams? They used to stack the teams in college, like Duke is stacked, right?
Right.
Calipari was stacked Kentucky. All of these teams would stack all of these guys with McDonald's All Americans and everything. And now you got to really think. Look at UNC. Look what happened with Ian Jackson. Look what happened with the other kid that's coming out, the one that
Drake Hill.
Pod likes. Yeah, it's like, look, I mean, because it was obvious to me that Ian Jackson is better than either of them guards on UNC.
Yeah, facts.
But it's like, but he gotta wait, and then it's like, yo, man, so you definitely need to leave. So now coming forward, like with Duke, I mean, it would make me say, man, I know sometimes they make through AAU and through all the basketball camps, they strike up, friendships and stuff, and then they're like, okay, I want to play with this one, I want to play with that one. But you got to start looking at it as, man, I need playing time. I want playing time, man, so that I could show you what I could do, so I could develop. Because
Well,
sometimes you'll be on the, because I know Calipari, what he used to do at Kentucky is, it was survival of the fittest. So even
Hmm.
though dudes was really good,
Right.
if they didn't show it in the game time situations and this and that, then they wouldn't get the playing time. That's why I never was able to really assess how good SGA could be.
mhm.
I knew he was a pro, but when I saw him,
What school he come from? What school he played at?
what was SGA? I know it was stacked.
I don't remember what team
Was
he
it
was on.
wasn't Kentucky?
Yeah, it
What's
was
my bad?
Kentucky. It was Kentucky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Kentucky.
that's what I'm saying. But they had all them other dudes. So when you seen them and Calipari, it's like it's hard to tell.
How good he's gonna be.
Yeah, because Calipari has 10 All Americans, and it was the same thing like when Cat was there, and they had Willie Cauley Stein, and they had all these guys, and it's like you had all of these different guys, or like when John Wall was there, and you had, I mean, because think of all them dudes that really didn't make it from Kentucky, that was all Americans, like Isaiah Briscoe and all these other guys, man. And they had all of these guys, and it's like, man, you would have probably been better going off to like like a top 40 ranked team that's not like D- Duke or not Kentucky, and just playing, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah,
they
that
want to
you
win, you know.
you missed the episode. I did have a conversation about choosing the schools, right?
Okay.
Because like everybody's going back to school, but then you look at Dylan and Ace for going to Rutgers, and sometimes they get frowned upon for going to Rutgers and not taking that team places, but they got the time to play. They got the time to showcase. So the question I was asking on the podcast was like, should you now do like a Dylan and Ace if you're a top recruit, go to a school where you can have somebody else, say like you and Dylan go to school, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Dylan the Ace, and then you recruit somebody else. You go get somebody else to come along. Hey, we don't have a 2-star over here. It's just me and him. So come over here, you get some time. You know what I mean? Because you're most likely
I
gonna
I think it worked out great for them.
win. Right.
Like I'm saying, for pro reasons, it worked
Yeah.
out great for them.
Yeah.
But I understand, and you know what is funny? It's like, because it's funny because it's like the people who don't like it, the people who are more interested in just college winning and all that, it's funny, they're on the same team, they got the same record, but now they're like, um, Dylan is all this, he's this and that and this and that. But then they're like, but Ace is this and this and that. He's the opposite.
Right.
And like let's let like say even his namesake Dylan, right, from Nets
Uh,
Press.
yeah.
It's
Right.
like he's so high on Dylan Harper, but
Right.
then he's so low on Ace. And I'm like, if you were watching these games, man, Ace was the afterthought, man.
Right.
I mean, at least as far as I've seen, what's the name? The ball, the usage of Harper,
Dylan.
he had the
Yeah.
ball all the time.
Right.
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 And then they had that dude. Remember the freshman center? He's
Yeah.
shooting.
Yeah.
He's shooting top of the three key. He's shooting from the key. He's shooting threes and all this. And I'm like, what are they doing? And when
Right.
Dylan's not in the game, the other dudes are not really giving Ace the ball.
Right.
I mean, you would have thought he he got a lot of them points and stuff just because from his ability, man.
Right. Right. Right.
And that's what I'm saying. So when I hear everybody, and then I even had to check my guys, Doug Norrie, because
Uh,
yeah, at one point he started saying something negative about Ace, and he had mentioned the word attitude, and I'm like, he has never shown negative
Nah.
attitude. I've never seen anything that. So please don't say that. And then
right.
he's like, well, you're right. I guess I was talking about shot selection. And I'm like, see, because people run with that, and then the next thing you say, or like Jonathan will say something like, well, he hasn't shown what Cooper Flag has. He's willing to not do. I'm like, come on, man, stop, stop.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So because, and that's what it, and those are the things that just take you to that level where it's like, so all of a sudden he's a bad guy.
Nah, man.
You know,
Nah.
I mean, sometimes you gotta shoot that all of that stuff. You gotta do all of that.
Yeah.
You
Because
know.
it all depends. Like if he go to like I said, Isaiah Evans on Duke got
Yes.
over he got overshadowed, and everyone's like the coach didn't do right by him. He should have been starting. There's no way he's too talented to be on the bench. Now he has to go back to school, even though he was in the second round of the draft, and they
Yeah.
was debating whether he'd be a first rounder. Now he goes back to Duke because he might not be a first rounder when he should have been a you know what I mean? He should have been a first
Yes.
rounder and he should have started. So picking a loaded a school like Duke could be a mistake for somebody like him. You know what I mean?
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
And the fact that he even went to the same school, I wouldn't have went back to the same school.
Right.
I
He
would
went
have
back
pulled the Ian Jackson,
go somewhere else where you can get some shine.
and I'm a little
And,
biased, and I would have said, "Come on over to St. John."
Right.
right.
He's a small forward, right? Or he's a guard.
He's a god.
He's a guard, right?
Yeah,
Isaiah Evans, right?
he's 6'6", but he plays the three. And they said that he was shooting better than JJ Redick when he played for Duke, but he's on the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how can you shoot better than JJ Redick when he was there and JJ was hot, but you still in the bench role, bro? That don't even make no sense.
Right.
Yeah. And
Well,
that's what, and see, and that's the thing that I would pick up from um Gil, and I say that's the thing that like fans don't know, that sometimes players can sense, or like from Kenyon Martin and stuff, because like you could have this one opinion and you could say, man, George Karl is one of the winningest coaches. He always had his teams in the playoffs and this and that. But then when you see like Kenyon talk about his time with Denver and the things that George Carl did and everything. You like, how can a guy be that evil? Or how can he be that vindictive? And those are
Right.
the things. Though that's the insight that I like to hear. Because we have no idea from where we're at. You know. So those are the things that I look at.
Yeah, they count when you get insight. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always say about players that we don't like this scouting thing for the Nets. That we don't get to talk to players, so evaluation is only from what you see. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right. We don't
Yeah,
get
You
to.
know, only from what you see, and you know the talent when you see it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
I go back and watch film now and see things different when they keep talking about Yegor, and I start to ask myself certain questions. I still think Fairs is better, but you know what I'm saying? Am I too low on him when I should be a little bit higher than what I have? Who could I compare him to? What you know what I'm saying? Let me see. And I
yeah.
want to go back and watch. Now that I'm watching Halliburton in college, I see a little bit of Halliburton in him from style of play, and I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I got to watch more before I even say something like that.
Who
You know what
you
I mean?
see
But that's what
Halliburton in? Who?
college. Oh,
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Yegor. Damn it. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
You can't really judge. It's hard to judge those college players without speaking to them because you need to know their mindset and
right.
how they feel.
But
There's a personal side to this to drafting. Definitely, it's
what
definitely a
yeah.
personal side to it.
But what I respect about Ice and Pod Thorn, for that matter, is they actually watch the
Yeah, they
stuff.
watch a lot of
But
college
like,
games.
now I'm saying, so when I'm hearing people, and I'm calling you out, Leaf, when you talking about these
Well, I'm
guys,
gonna call them out anyway.
and then you not even watching them play, but you just taking into account, nah, they teenagers, so they can't possibly. It's like, nah, man, you got to watch them play. Come
Yeah,
on,
you
stop.
gotta put the work in on them.
You got to watch them play, and then you could talk about them. So, because like I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being wrong about, like, because I'm saying, come on, like, because see, and that's the thing that I don't like is when they say, well, SGA, he was picked like 13th or 14th or 11th, something like that. And it's like, see, he made it. So now we have our eighth pick. So our guy can be that same way. And it's like, come on, man. It's not the same situation. And like I said, since SGA went to a stacked Kentucky team, you got to think he might have been a top 5 or a top 8 if he had went to a different school.
Right.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's what I asked, right? I had all these things on my TikTok asking about these players that's been drafted in the 30s. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson, Siakam was undrafted. I'm like, how are these guys missing this talent? Like how are you evaluating the scouts evaluating these players and missing these guys, and then the ones in the 30s become the stars, and you just worried about the ones in the top 10, you know what I mean? Top five looking for stars right there. But the talent, when you see talent, you know what talent is, bro. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
So
Like,
what you're saying is they missing. They be missing.
yes,
They
they
miss.
do.
They miss.
So that's why I asked myself today, like, how? So let me go back and watch some more people on this draft and see if I'm under evaluating somebody or over evaluating somebody. That's what I went back and did today. Just looking at certain things to see what am I missing? Because some players I'll be like, nah, I wouldn't draft him. And then when I
Yeah.
go back and watch, I go see certain things that I'm like, okay, maybe I was watching this person, and when I go watch this person, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, that's not that's he. But I go back and see, like, oh, I can see why. You know what I'm saying? He'd be all right, but I'm not sure. But he is better than what I thought he is. Type shit. You
It's
Yeah.
know what I
like,
mean?
yeah, it's like I watched a lot of St. John's, right?
Right.
And I was saying, like, the reason that I was giving them a chance to win was because Kadari Richmond, he's a freaking pro. He
Right.
can't shoot. He can't shoot. But everything else, he's 6'6". He plays tough defense. He gets to the hole and everything. So it's like there will be a role for him at the next level. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes they get caught up in, like, so he might actually have a better shot than RJ Lewis. You know what I mean? RJ
Hmm.
Lewis will get probably because he's offensive, he might get more of a chance. And because he was Big East player of the year. But when you looked at their team, it was like, man, it was their big man and Kadari Richmond that really made them take off, you know?
Kadari
Yeah,
Richmond is 6'6". Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, big dude.
And you know what he's like? He's like a defensive version of like Tyreek Evans. Like, 'cause, you know, he's like freaking built, is
Hmm.
strong, and it's like, yo, it's hard to stop him once he gets ahead of steam, you know.
Right.
But he got to learn, you know, and that's what I think. One of them dudes was on one of the games, one of them pros, and he was like, he just needs, he got to get a decent jump shot. Right now, it's nothing, you know, but he got to, if he's a jump shot away from the NBA. That's what they say,
Oh, okay. All right.
and that's a decent jump shot, you know, not, you know, not trying to make him a world beater.
Yeah, because he could do everything else.
Yeah. And that's see, that's part of the thing with some of these guys, man. It's like, but you know, the main thing that gets me with our Nets guys is we got to stop wanting so many players. Oh, like, cause here's another one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nas Reed.
Oh, Nas really.
Now, all of a sudden, you know, because he's going to be a
Everybody's
free
talking about
agent,
him.
and what I say is, it's just bad timing. I would love to have him on our team, but that's after we had the foundational guys. It's like, why are we gonna go and sign him and we not ready yet?
Right. Right.
It doesn't make sense to pay out that much money when you
Because
might, as Pod Thorne says, we might find our own Nas Reed in the draft.
Right. Right.
that's possible. But
That's,
also too, if you don't and you don't sign him, you know somebody else will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh no,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying. But he's supposed to get paid now. He
right,
proved his
right.
worth because I liked him at LSU, but he proved his worth and everything. And it's like, you know, it was only a matter of time. You could, if you ever seen him in college, you could tell he could play.
right. Right. Yeah, Nas Reed can play. You could tell when he was in college, yeah. But I don't see no, like in this draft, and I always tell people the same thing. The situation, like these players, there's a lot of talent, but the situation is different depending on the team that they go to. But I
Yes,
was listening to Gil, and Gil was saying, with all this stuff they got, with all these coaches, with all these trainers and everything, how even if you did say get somebody who can't shoot, or somebody can't dribble well, or they don't have a great post game, and all these trainers you got, you can't train them to shoot. You can't train them to play a post game because you're
that's
not training them for the rest of the stuff because they can do it.
exactly. And I
So,
said that when I seen Josh Giddey leave OKC for missing them corner threes, and then go to Chicago. And Chicago, the first thing they did at Chicago was get his shot down better so he can hit the threes, and then he started hitting the threes.
right. You right. I seen that. Giddy was doing that.
So I'm like, hold on. So OKC, y'all didn't have time to do that, knowing he had the talent to do it. When he
So
goes over to Chicago, and they made that a priority, and he got better. Like, what are y'all doing?
You know what? You know, like when y'all are saying that, and I'm listening to the brilliance of Gil, right? Like with his frankness. But I
Yeah,
think one of the things that's really funny is I think like because you know he does have some wild takes, but then he has a lot of insight too.
yeah,
yeah,
But
yeah,
one of
he
the
does.
things like when you were just saying what you said,
Right.
it's like the league is telling him, Gil, STFU,
Yeah.
because you're
Shut
effing
up.
up you're effing
Shut
up the
up.
bag. You're effing up the bag for all of the rest of the people
Shut up.
who are getting paid. You know, like the What's his name? The one that they promote now from the Nets. Ott. What's his name?
Cam
Ott.
Thomas or Cam
No,
Johnson?
Yeah,
the assistant coach we used to have. What was his name?
Oh,
Ott.
Ime.
Ime. You talking
No,
about Ime?
no, no. I'm saying the white guy, the coach.
Oh,
Oh, on the
It's up
Nets
for
now.
he's up for a job now.
Oh, I the yeah. I
Remember
mean,
they used to always interview him at the halftime of the Nets games.
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Is it Harry?
Jared Ott or something like that or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. You effing it's like Gilbert. You're effing up the game for all of these type of guys because when you really look at it, it's like there's a lot of guys like that. Look at all of these coaches. There's a lot of guys like that to get opportunities, and
You
then
talking about
just
Steve Hetzler? Because you got Jawan, you got Steve
Yeah, it's Hetzel. I think it's the Hetzel dude.
Hetzler.
oh no, not Hetzel. But I'm saying I think it was Jared Ott that he's up for a job now. I think
Okay.
he's up for the OKC job. He's
Okay.
like one of the top two candidates for that. And then you had Nets fans saying, "Look at Sean Marks's coaching tree." Yeah, a lot of guys want these, and like what I'm saying is, like when Gil talks like that, I think some of it comes from what he's saying is a lot of the players know what's common sense and what makes sense, but the league is trying to make it a certain way, and that's why you always see these guys like the Minnesota coach. You see some of these other coaches, and it's like, and if you really look at the trend, look how many of them start out as video coordinators.
Right. They watch a lot of tapes.
Yeah. So they become this guy, and then it's like, but at the same time, you passing over the Sam Cassells and all of them guys.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Right.
it becomes that. So you hire the Finches and you hire this guy and that guy, and it's like, well, man, when is Sam Cassell gonna get a shot? He gotta play the game, yo. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what be frustrating, like Kenyon and Gill and them guys, because they know a lot of these dudes know basketball, but they want like all of a sudden Jordy is a freaking mastermind. I'm like, all right,
Nah, they just like Jordan. See that it's different though, because players players play, and then they got guys working their way up, or guys who don't really work their way up, just on the inside of things, and you
yeah,
know who you know, who you know, and I think that'd be the difference. But Jordy was coaching from shit for the longest, but
oh
it's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
his role was extremely long to be finally get a what I mean. He probably like thank the Lord, what I'm saying.
yeah,
I finally got here. But saying like Sam Cassell should be, what I mean, either in the same area by now, or he should have been coaching before, like you said. He should have got an opportunity somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, where's Sam coaching at now? What team is he on?
He was assistant coach on, I forget what team. I forget what team he was on, but he's an assistant
yeah.
coach.
Boston now, right?
Yeah, Boston, I think. Yeah. Let me see. Sam. So
But it's funny though, So, but I think that's what a lot of them dudes are reacting to, is because like, well, let's just call it what it is. It's like you know a lot of the former players, it's like, are like they're stepping into these spaces now, and they're like, okay, well, some of us are not getting shots because you're getting a lot of you're getting a lot of coaches that are non-players,
right.
but also they're so freaking young that they didn't even really pay their dues from like coaching. They're not like Mark Few or something like that. They're not like what's the Boston GM guy?
I don't know what his name is, but I
Yeah,
know he
but you
talked.
know he played, he coached college, right?
Yeah. Oh, did
Yeah.
he?
Huh?
I didn't know he coached college.
Yeah, yeah. He, because he moved up right after, like when he moved up and hired Ime, right?
Oh yeah,
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 yeah, he did.
He was the coach for there.
He
I
was the
think.
coach before Ime was.
Yeah, he coached when Kyrie was there, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But so so he's a lifer and this and that and this and that. But then you see, so I think that they
Brad
reacted.
Stevens.
Yeah, Brad Stevens. So that's what I'm saying. And so like the Gills and the Kenyans and all them, they also see, well, you want to talk about the LeBron stuff, but why is Danny Ainge's son now the freaking GM or whatever in Utah?
right. It's
Right.
crazy. Easy work.
I mean, I know he's not young because I saw the great temples and stuff, but I'm like, where was he putting in work? How did he
Yeah.
get that gig?
uh,
And other people's sons and stuff can't.
right, right. Well, Danny Ainge got a foothold
But that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like I think the players they have to play the game a certain way
in
in
order to
order
get
to
in.
and in order to just like Gil STFU don't say too much.
But I think Gil don't want to be, he preferred to be on the outside so he could say what he feel.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I'm gonna say. Definitely. That's why he
yeah,
did the podcast. So they
yeah,
don't, he ain't restricted. You know what I'm
Yeah,
yeah,
saying?
he,
Speak freely until
yeah,
somebody shoot me down. You know what I mean?
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe me, trust me, I watch his show, and it's informative.
Hmm.
Some things I disagree with, some things I agree, and some
That's
things I
how it should
disagree.
be, right? That's
Yeah,
how it
that's
should
how it
be.
should be.
Yeah, yeah, fact. Can't
But
always
I,
be
I
right.
can I can dig where he coming from most of the time. Most
Yeah.
of the time.
Oh yeah, because I'm gonna tell you some things that really make sense to me is, and I just hear people, you know what it is, God, you know what it is. I'm just too old, man. I'm
No,
just an
it's
old fogey. I'm too old because when I hear people say stuff, and then like Gil is that confirmation for me. So when I hear him say, "Yeah, they talk about um uh what's the thing they say, the three-way scorer or whatever they
right,
call it,
right.
Three level score.
three
Three
level
level
scorer.
score.
It's like it's not
Yeah,
three levels, it's five levels.
yeah.
Oh
He
yeah,
talks about, what about posting up, what about this and that. If you only look at it as three levels, then come on.
you limit
Or
the
when
game.
he goes off and he starts talking about a two-way player, he said, I thought you meant somebody from the G League. Oh, you mean you're a two-way player if you play defense and offense?
Well, you're
Right.
supposed to.
Exactly. You're supposed to
yeah,
play both.
yeah, you just a player.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So some of them
yeah,
things I
yeah. The
read, or the
terminology is
or
kind
the
of like
insight that he had with Anthony Edwards,
right,
because I saw it before he said it, but I didn't think anyone else really saw it. And he was saying the thing with Anthony Edwards is, you remember when he started complaining about being double teamed,
right,
and he said, and again he went back to Ice's point. Why don't the coaches? Why don't the coaches make him practice against double teams?
right,
I'm saying, when you got the scout team and stuff, you supposed to run that on him, so he's supposed to learn how to play against double teams, not come out on games and be mad because they double teaming him.
right,
He
right.
said, "You don't think Michael Jordan got double team? You
He
don't
got
think?"
double team. They've been trying to double team him every time.
But you
Exactly.
know what's funny that you say that because SGA has the same problem. You know who didn't have a problem? Halliburton. Halliburton didn't have a problem. He got rid of the ball as soon as he seen that coming. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? SGA got stripped a couple times versus the Wolves, and I'm like, oh, that's how they get you. You know what I
And,
mean?
and and you know what? Since you saying that, it's two different types of players.
right,
Halliburton is doing that, right? Getting rid
Right.
of He's getting rid of it, right? With
Yeah,
the
fact.
right.
double.
Yeah.
But now there's also, and that's what I'm saying about Ace. That's what I'm saying about Ace. Ace may not get rid of it, but that shot he's taking against two or three defenders is a higher percentage shot than passing
Right.
them one of them scrubby teammates.
Or he had no choice. He had no choice.
I'm saying, but
Right.
they
Yeah,
act like, oh, that's the bad play. It's like, no, it isn't.
he that is the
Not,
good play because he had
right.
no
Not for,
choice.
yeah, not for him. Right. Who am I gonna pass it to when I got
But
three
that,
covered?
but that's the
Exactly.
disadvantage of going to a school where you now the man, like you were saying, instead of going to Duke. So you
Right.
had to actually pick which way you want to be seen.
Right.
Yeah, Duke gives you that inside, but are you really getting playing time? And
Right.
then if you go to Seton Hall, or I mean not Seton Hall, but Rutgers is more of a smaller school. You're gonna get the light, so you're gonna shoot. You know you're getting on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you are this American basketball. You this top prospect, top high school player. You're gonna get the shots.
Oh,
They crying for you to come.
yeah.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
if you're old enough to have seen Jordan in college, then you know he deferred to the best player on his team, which was Worthy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right,
Right? Worthy was the best player on his team.
right.
But then by and then he also had, as a big man, he had Sam Perkins on there, right?
Perkins,
So
right,
he knew, oh, I got to get him the ball and stuff.
right.
But so it's not like he didn't know how to play under Dean Smith. But so when he got to the NBA, it's just like, man, some of these guys is just scrubbier. I just need to take more of the shots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What it
No,
is.
That
you
happened.
know another. You know another thing. Because with Dylan being on the show, right, and saying what he's saying about this draft and all freshmen, and I sat here and I asked myself, who would draft all freshmen? You know what I mean? In a rebuild. So I went to go see, and I seen people, other people on who do college saying like, um, draft stuff, saying some of these seniors are being overlooked. And I knew what seniors he was talking about because I know they nice like Raynard. He said Raynard being overlooked. Just because he's a senior, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, don't mean that he couldn't be picked up earlier than what he is. He is the most skilled big in the draft. Oh, you got Watch, who is a project and possibility later on. You know what I mean? 4 years later, he could be something. But right now, because he did the 4 years, Raynard, like he can get in right now and do damage for you. Like, you know what I'm
You
saying? Like you
mean
can't.
you mean, and this is the thing, you mean the ACC Player of the Year
Yeah,
in a conference with Cooper Flag?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. It's like Cooper Flag wasn't the ACC Player of the Year.
Nope.
It was Ray No.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. And and some people would not pick him because he's like, oh, now he's like 23 right now. He's about to be 24. But I'm like, bro, how many centers do you even get like that in the league? You know what I'm saying? You don't, when you see somebody that's talented, and they say he still has upside because he started late. He's a late bloomer. That
Mm-hmm.
made a difference for him. How do you just sit there and just let him walk, bro? Like, nah, somebody else can have him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
They,
yeah.
we'll find somebody else, right? And then you go through the draft and you don't see nobody as skilled as that. So
You know
he's the
what it
most.
is? They can't distinguish between. They look at the age, and what's the name is about to turn 23 in the summer, right? Johnny.
Mhm. You know, Janai
So,
Brown,
so
yeah.
they can't distinguish the difference between Renault and Broom. They think, oh, well, they're just both older players, so that must be why they dominated. And
Right,
it's like they're very different from each other, you know.
right,
Broom played all. He already played like 5 seasons in college.
right, right, right.
So but Renault is not like that, you know.
yeah,
I think he's a great player. I think Renault is a great player. He's going to turn into a great player.
yeah, man. He nice. I hope like I said, somebody gave him a promise, and I hope it's the Nets. I hope it's the Nets. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know, besides Pod and even though Pod and I, we disagree from time to time, but
Uh-huh.
I think who we disagree most on is because I like Carter Bryant and he doesn't like him.
I
Oh,
like
Carter
Carter.
Bryant.
I like Carter Bryant, right?
Yes,
And it depends on who you want to pick before Carter. You know what I'm saying? Where I'll be like, oh, I don't know, but if we get him, I'm fine with it. It's just where we get him at. You know what I mean?
yeah. At 19, it would be nice, you know.
Yeah. Who would you pick at 8 though? That's the question.
My God, Fizz. I'm
We
picking
need
Fizz.
we need somebody to fall.
I need Fizz. That's
You ain't lying.
yo. His name is burning up. Yo, I can go anywhere and see a Fierce workout. Like
Yeah.
any app, Fairs even on TikTok, Fairs is everywhere. I got people sending me Fairs workouts everywhere, bro. Instagram,
Yeah,
Twitter, TikTok. That dude is everywhere, bro. Like he
Yeah,
has to
he's
be like,
hot. He's hot.
yeah,
He's hot.
yeah.
He's hot.
They say on the joint I be watching the Draft Junkies, James and them. They had an
oh
interview.
yeah, the Barlow brothers.
Yeah, they
I
said on there that GM said that Jeremiah in the long run might be better. They think Jeremiah in the long run would be better than Dylan.
I saw that. I saw
Yeah.
that today. And one thing I was saying, I think after he said that, I tweeted underneath it. I tweeted, these dudes know their stuff as far as evaluators.
Yeah, they do.
Them brothers, they know their
Yeah,
stuff.
they
Yeah,
go through
I
everything.
see. I see greatness out of Jeremiah Fairs. I do.
Bro.
It's a possibility. It really is.
He has workouts. I don't know. I know he in New York, but I seen Ace. Somebody sent me Ace working out on his handles. I'm like, all right, cool. But Jeremiah just his shit is just nonstop. You know what I'm saying? Like his workouts don't never end, bro. You know what I'm saying? His shit just keep going.
Yeah.
Every day you can see a workout with Jeremiah. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But I know other teams interested, but that's who I would take at 8 if he's on the board.
You
Right.
know what it kind of reminds me of when I saw that tweet, it started making me think of Dylan being Darren Williams, but then him being Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, yeah,
different sizes, but
Right.
both
right,
of them is like great point guards. You know,
right. Yeah.
in the same class. You know.
Yeah, because I've been looking at, like I said, I've been watching everybody podcasts and everything to see what everybody's doing, and he making people think twice. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I keep
Yeah.
saying the Wizards want a big, the Pelicans want a big, but he's making them think to choose him before they take a big, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Like he making them think they mind on like, yo, maybe we just take this best player and forget about the bigs right now. That's how he got them thinking.
Yeah. Which is possible. Which is possible.
Yeah,
I was hoping Leaf came on tonight because he was talking a lot of shit about the NBA Finals and how the Pacers were not
I remember.
talking a lot of shit about how the Pacers were going to get their ass waxed.
Yeah.
dog
And
walk, dog
But
walk.
also, but also, but wait a second. Last night he said, but if it goes the other way, I'm gonna go on and I'm gonna be trashing OKC, and I'm like, oh, how can you do that
Because
when
he,
they did? I'm saying they the youngest team in the league. Sometimes they ain't ready.
yeah,
yeah, uh, um,
Just because they got the best record, that don't mean they're supposed to win.
no,
Leaf, Leaf is Gilbert Arenas. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's our version of Gil, right?
yeah, but
I saw. You know what? I watched that game, and a lot of people kept saying, even all the ex players kept saying they didn't see it coming. But now they see it a little different.
I told him
Experience,
on TikTok. Yeah, I told they not even the experience, right? To me, when I'm watching, and I said the same thing about the Knicks. I said Knicks fans, y'all getting too excited. They match up too well. Y'all don't understand the matchup. And when
right?
I look at OKC, I see the same matchup. Y'all have damn near the same type of team, But y'all OKC fans, y'all don't realize it yet. Watch when y'all play them. It's not going to be as easy as you think. You know what I'm saying? Like
And
they
you
match
know,
up too well.
Well,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know
look
one
who
other
showed
thing
up.
though. Here
Oh,
he
oh
comes.
shit.
Here he comes. And you know
Just in
one other
time.
thing about OKC, I'm gonna say that they can go into droughts, scoring droughts.
Leave what
And
happened, man.
and LB, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, never, ever in the history of a series in basketball, period, has one game told more about two teams than it has in this series. Never. But because listen, I got people telling me, bro, like Pacers in five. Listen, this is what happens when all-time great defenses run into versatile offenses. This is what happens when you put a great defense against what has always been a great offense since a year ago. This is what happens, bro. When you stagnant and not a lot of people in your lineup can't get consistent buckets. This is what happens when you go small. I ain't gonna lie, the comments and all of the chatter in the last since Thursday night go
Wow.
on and
Wow.
on and on and on and on.
Yeah,
Listen,
them 3 days in between. Yeah.
did them 3 days in between after one get I have never in my life seen that much chatter after one game than I seen in this one game in this finals. And
And
I'm gonna be
can
honest
I
with you, and this is
yeah,
not a bash. This is not a bash to the Indiana Pacers at all. It's not a bash to OKC at all, but I strongly believe if the Pacers walk out of this shit alive and walk out of this with a Larry O'Brien, bro, this is more about OKC losing than it is about the Pacers winning.
I
You think
disagree
so?
with that because OKC could be back next year.
They
And
they
and
could they could, but at the same time they could, but at what cost? And I'm
no, I'm saying and the
and
cost
I'm
will
and not
probably
to ask
be
it.
they
I don't want to
need
ask it in the form of a question. I want to ask it so I could really explain what's about to happen to OKC as a small market because we basically in the era of finals debuts. That's where we at, bro, right now. We in the era of finals debuts. We seen a whole bunch of niggas that was one and done, bro. We seen Giannis one and done. We seen Chris Paul one and done. We seen Devin Booker one and done. We seen Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown one and done. We seen Joker one and done. We seen Luca last year, one and done with Kyrie, bro. And now we seeing two teams that ain't never been in the finals with Halliburton and SGA, possibly one and done. I'll be honest with you. I think that if OKC with everything that they've done in the regular season, with everything with all of these all-time ratings and all of these plus minuses, all of these records that they done broke as far as how far they did, how everything that they did to get to this point, all the way up to Thursday night.
Mhm.
If you telling me that the one team that can expose them, the one team that could expose them all along was Indiana, bruh. I'm like I'm not even. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even befiddled about it because I know Mark Dauganaut, bro, is gonna have like he has to figure out the Pascal Siakam puzzle because you didn't trust Hartenstein enough. You feel like Hartenstein is too slow. You
Yep.
feel like Chet is too weak. You feel
Yep.
like Casey Wallace is too small.
Yep.
So what do you do? What what is your fix? What who do you go to?
They
Do
underestimate.
you go to the other Jalen Williams on the bench? Do you go to somebody else? Do you dig deep on the 12-man roster, 12-man rotation? Like my thing is it's not even a form of a question, bro, because we know you got to make an adjustment. But I
Got
know
to.
for a fact that everything that Indiana has doing, bro, is it's no longer coincidence anymore.
Nah,
This shit
it's
is by
not.
design.
Yeah.
But you know what I'll say about OKC, and this is what I kept saying to John. Because remember how John every week he was trying to peddle off. Cam Johnson on OKC. Oh, OKC's gonna lose because they don't have any outside shooting. They need Cam Johnson, and I'm like, man, Isaiah Joe is freaking close to Cam Johnson. So why would they want to give up a whole bunch of stuff for Cam Johnson? So like my point is they could afford to stay pat. Like, they didn't go and trade a bunch of picks or whatever to get almost anyone, right? They could have did it with Kenrich Williams and someone else, some combination, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it because they could afford to stand pat because they were still beating everyone. And then the excuse they have is they're still young. They're the youngest team in the league. So
Right.
so now if they lose to Indiana, now you'll see them start talking about, well, do we need Durant here? Do we need Giannis? Do we need this person? Do we need that person? Then you'll start to see, okay, now we can't have Sam Hinkie collecting draft picks forever, right? That's when you'll see what they're gonna really do. This is a wash year for them. They could win the title, or they made it to the finals, which 28 other teams didn't do. So they still are good to me. But now I wanted to address one other thing you said about Indiana. I don't see Indiana as some historic offense. They just they just play their offense better than most of the other teams in the league. But when they calling it this and that and this and that, I seen the Showtime Lakers. They ain't this. I seen Larry Bird's Celtics. They ain't that. So when they talking about this historic offense and everything, it's just based on like analytics and stuff like that.
No, OKC is
I think yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Ice.
OKC is the historic offense, but Pacers is the fastest offense. But Lee, the other thing that when I talk to OKC fans about, they were saying the Pacers transition defense is really what caught them off guard because all them steals they got, I think they said they only scored like 4 points or 6 points off
4 points
them
over
steals.
turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah, so they said the transition defense of the Pacers really is what threw the whole game through the whole OKC off because they usually scoring off transition. You know what I mean? They trap, they steal, and they score and they run up the score. But that the way they played defense on transition kept the game close. And like I said, that was a shocker to them because they ain't never played nobody like that. You know what I mean? They ain't had nobody like
That's that. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think when we go back and look at that fourth quarter, we realize that
Defensively.
the war of attrition, bro, like really favors the Pacers because not only are they built to do it, but everything that they run on offense allows them to get back on defense, bro. Like so
Yeah, they're
quickly because
balanced. They're
yeah.
balanced.
So and I mean everybody want to say it's more conditioned, but I look at something that the Toronto Raptors did when they played Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors in the finals. If you go look back on most of them possessions, they got back on defense quick. They transition defense was beautiful because the thing is, as we know about the Warriors of old, if you let them get going in transition, they will murder you. They was one of the best transition teams we seen in years. So in reality, forcing 25 turnovers and getting only four points on it, bro, like you basically just out there to steal a ball just to steal a ball.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like
that. Yeah, really.
Yeah, they definitely had better transition. Their second quarter, that third and fourth quarter,
You know what it is? It's Carlisle.
yeah,
It's Carlisle because he's a older guy, and he's like, yo, if I'm not gonna have anything, I'm gonna have floor balance.
right.
So if my guard is shooting a three or something, I'm gonna make sure someone else, the other guard, is falling back, or I'm gonna make sure this and that. So they rarely get beaten, or rarely get beaten on fast breaks
And they
off
half
the
court
shot.
defense is better than what you think it is.
Yeah,
Nemhart, Nemhart, Nemhart did some. Nemhart put SGA in lockdown in the fourth quarter. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Yeah.
Definitely seen that.
Yo, my bad, my bad, my bad. I think I bumped out the shit I had messed up. But I think in terms of I'm not there comparing them. I think their legendary offense is way different than legendary offenses that we've seen in the past. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that they nowhere near Showtime. I'm just saying that they're different in terms of versatility.
Yeah.
Like their versatility is really the fact that they basically got five three-level scorers at 1 through 5. That's basically what they got. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you got Miles Turner who
So
could
let me
pump
ask you
fake.
this. Let me ask you this. You're talking about which side are you talking about? OKC or Indiana?
I'm talking about Indiana.
Okay, because I was gonna say for Indiana, I mean for OKC, I was gonna ask you, because to me, I had said when you had said, oh, they'll be lucky to win a game. I said I don't see anyone on OKC who can stop Siakam. I don't see anyone. I don't see that happening.
I mean, listen, and I guess we saw that in the first game, and when it only really took one game to really prove that adamant, bro. Because I listen, only thing I know about the things that we know about OKC going into the series is that they basically slayed the dragon. We basically assumed that they slayed the dragon with Joker in 7 games.
Yeah.
Right.
We all assumed that, bro.
And
The
and
second that
what's
they
his
won
name
that
wasn't hurt.
series, right?
If Gordon wasn't hurt, I was predicting Denver would have won.
I was predicting Denver too, but Gordon got hurt. They won that series, but I think the straw that broke the camel's back for this postseason is Boston getting taken out by the Knicks. That's what really broke. That's what really broke this whole shit wide open. Really broke this shit wide open because if that same Boston team from last year was in the conference finals, me, you, everybody on Twitter, we all know the Indiana Pacers was probably going to get swept again because they played that same team last year and they didn't win a game. So realistically, bro, like the common denominator in all of this was the Boston loss to the Knicks. We did not see that shit coming. Nobody saw that coming.
Well,
Well,
I don't
Absolutely
think
nobody.
for
the
me.
Knicks didn't even see that coming.
Well,
The
for
hell
me.
no.
Well, for me, I didn't see them. I that blame, and I'm saying to me, even if Tatum didn't get hurt, that they were still going to lose to the Knicks
I think they
because
missed. I think
it
they
was
missed
their
their
coach.
center.
It was Missoula.
It's
It's like
Missoula, right?
you cannot shoot 63s a game and think you're gonna win
Right.
unless you got Curry on your side.
Not unless
Nah,
they
but
going in.
talk,
So them
when I
shots
talk
were
to
not
Swift,
going in. That
when I
first two
talk
I
to
games,
mean,
the
listen,
shots
listen.
did not go
I
in.
put it to you this way. Listen, quiet as kept. That same Boston team, when they played Steph Curry in the finals, I seen Steph Curry go 0 for 9, and the Warriors still won the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, like I think like the Steph Curry thing within itself, what people don't realize about the Warriors didn't shoot a lot of threes. Steph Curry shot a lot of threes. Klay
Yeah,
Thompson shot a lot of threes.
they
They
threw a lot of
Everybody
stuff.
else ran sets. Everybody else got layups. Everybody else got open because of Steph and Clay's gravity. It was easy transition because you had to account for the best shooting backcourt ever that we've ever seen in the 200 something years of basketball. There's no comparison. Like in terms of shooting, these niggas is it. So the reality of the Warriors is that Steph and Clay shot a lot of threes. The Warriors as a team didn't shoot a lot of threes. They
Mhm.
played defense. They rebound. Draymond did the intangibles. Iguodala did the intangibles. Sean Livingston didn't miss a mid-range shot for his entire career. Go look it up. It's on Google. Go look it up, bro. I'm telling you, he didn't miss a mid-range shot for his entire career. So
You ain't got to tell Nets fans about Sean Livingston.
yeah, exactly. So Sean Livingston was all of that. So all I'm gonna say is this: I think people got the wrong idea about 3-point shooting. The difference between Indiana and Boston, they get to better shots. They clearly get to better shots. They don't just lean on the three. They get to actual better shots. They
You
can
know
get
what?
that.
You know what? So you know what illustrates that? Like with what you saying. I saw at least like over the last few games or so, I saw at least half a dozen times where Tyrese Halliburton could have, he shook his man or whatever, went around the screen and could have took a three, but tossed it in right to someone underneath the basket, and then
Right.
got a layup or a dunk. And
Yep.
it's like a lot of coaches today wouldn't do that, even though
Mhm.
that's the higher percentage shot. They
It is a
always
high
going for the
percentage shot.
home run.
Right.
They always going for the home run, and I think and I think that's the important part about having a decision maker like Halliburton with a team that when you have a decision maker like him with a team from 1 through 5 that can get to quality shots as opposed to just chucking up threes, and they could get back in transition, and their defense is underrated. Neesmith, Nimhard, man, I think they did a phenomenal job in the fourth quarter. And then you could go to your bench and get threes from Thomas Bryant and Obi Toppin, and you could get money from T.J. McConnell and Ben Matherin, those type of guys, bro. Like when you have a type of team like this, and when you have a great decision maker, sort of a mom and pop type of playmaker in Halliburton, it's to me defensively, bro, it's really difficult to deal with these dudes. It's really difficult because you
But you
can't
know,
double nobody, you can't trap anybody. They are not they don't even though they had 20 something turnovers, they don't make they don't make bad decisions when it counts.
Yeah.
They make great decisions, and they share the ball, and they play within sets, and they play with and they run offensive action together a lot.
So
but but
Leaf.
go
I just
ahead,
want
go
to say
ahead.
this one thing. Now you change your tune since I told you that if they win the first game.
No. I still got OKC in 5. Nah. I got to. Listen. Listen. I don't got no choice but to stand on it, bro. Like,
Okay,
listen.
all right.
I
Gilbert.
Let's
don't. I don't have no. Listen. The Pacers did a job.
yeah, they did.
They got rid of the bum. They got rid of the Nickel bummers, bro. We cool. We don't care who wins this finals.
Right,
We
right,
really don't.
right.
So I mean, I'm picking OKC in 5 because I think OKC is gonna make the adjustments, and I still think OKC is the better team. Even
So
though
this
Indiana did come back in that fourth quarter, I think that was just a coaching error.
okay.
And we'll see what's what in
Tomorrow.
tomorrow's night's game. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
right.
think OKC personally in game 2, I think OKC gonna beat the shit out of them.
Okay. All
You
right.
know what this series, it begs the question so far. It begs the question of, because I'm listening to you talk about shots, and see, that's the whole thing. Like, I argue with people who are half my age now, like a lot of the analytics people, and I'm like, the three is not a better shot if somebody's under the basket. The three is
Right,
not a better shot if somebody's right there in the lane and they could either be fouled or they can score the basket. But
right.
you argue with these people and everyone is still, nah, he's wide open at the top of the key. And I'm like, that's not a better shot.
No, that's not a good shot.
But
It's not a better shot than a wide open than a wide open layup or a one-on-one layup or a one-on-one two
that's
pointer.
what I'm saying. But
I will say that, but at the
they're
same
trained
time,
to think it is.
but at the same time, LB, when your offense is structured to get open threes as a professional NBA basketball player, bro, like to the 30 teams that play in the NBA and to the professional basketball players that play in the NBA, those are, the open threes is good shots. Open threes is always going to be good shots, and it's going to continue to be that
I mean,
as we
yeah,
go.
when they playing us, or if you see them in practice, they can hit 15 out of 18 open threes, right? But I'm saying, but the thing is, once the game starts, that ain't the same. It's different. It's the
Right,
pressure is different. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And it's not as high a reward as going for a layup and stuff. It's almost like people don't want contact anymore. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's true. But I think listen, I think the game in basketball, to me, it's warped the generation that basically pays attention, that thinks they pays attention to it the most. It warps the minds of the generation that thinks they pay attention the most, and they don't. Steph Curry done really remixed a lot of these Gen Zers and a lot of these 90s and 2000s babies' minds to the point where, like, yo, they swear the three ball, bro, like, it's the shit. What he really did, bro, is he figured out a way to, hit a whole bunch of circus shots. That's really what he figured
Yeah,
out, bro. Like, but he figured him out. But the way that he figured it out, the people that tried to duplicate it, they look silly because they'll take them shots down the stretch of games and they cost teams them games. Steph Curry, bro, Steph Curry has had it set up to
yeah,
where he
he's
can
an
take those.
anomaly. Yeah,
Yeah, he's had it set up to where he can take those shots, but the Warriors, as a unit, the rest of the Warriors team, they're gonna do the intangibles and they're gonna do all the other little basketball stuff to make sure that those missed shots that Curry take doesn't backfire all the time. That's the whole thing about it, bro. Steph Curry has always had it built like that.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So like, he's always had that mulligan. So it makes you think like, yo, who somebody could be, bro. There isn't gonna be another Steph Curry unless they put gravity margins in the ball, and then they find another light skinned kid from North Carolina. There ain't gonna be no another Steph Curry, bro. That shit is dead. You're gonna have to get quality shots, and you're gonna have to make the game easier, and that's what Halliburton does. I mean, it's simple. It's not flashy. It's to the point, but it's effective, and a lot of times it's very speedy, and a lot of times, like, it's very to the point, and it's so simplistic, but it's actually more and more difficult to guard because now you got to account for everybody.
right.
Now everybody on Indiana has a shooting coach. Thomas Bryant is more playable than he ever was. Obi Toppin is more playable than he ever was. Neesmith is more playable than he ever was, bro. We
Yep.
saw these dudes on other teams; they were not playable at all. We
Yeah.
saw Miles Turner before in the playoffs with this Pacers team for years. He was considered weak. He was considered
I
soft.
said to
Yeah.
you, but I said to you when what's the name when you were saying, oh, they gonna demolish them and everything. I said, don't forget, check Rick Carlisle's record against a super team. Look at what he did with the Heatles, right? So I'm thinking when it's a old school guy, he knows how to get the most. Come on, look what he got out of JJ Barrera. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. I ain't gonna
He
lie
had
to you.
he had Jet Terry locking down LeBron. Come on, man.
Yep. He had Jason Terry outscoring LeBron. He had JJ Barea knifing do defenses, like sweeping the Lakers, and Kobe and the Lakers brooming them, get them out the playoffs easy. He had them running around Oklahoma City, young Oklahoma City team during that time. I'm like,
Oh,
yo,
and you know what I like now? You know what I like now, Ice? He started letting what's the name play some. I guess maybe
Oh,
he wasn't ready yet, like he was
oh,
maybe hurt. Jerace Walker, because I
Oh,
oh.
liked him in the draft too.
Jarris Walker, yeah,
Yeah, I
Jarris
liked
Walker.
him in the draft too. I was like,
I
this
didn't.
dude
I'll
could
be
play.
honest with you. I didn't know. Listen. I was not. I like Jarvis Walker when they picked him because he was initially picked by Washington. They traded. Um, when they picked him, I was just like, I mean, he looked physical enough, but I don't know what his game could be. You know what I'm saying? But he's starting to play him and he's starting to bring him along.
Yeah, I think I
I think
remember
that,
him from Houston.
yeah, but I think that when you have a coach that's going to take the handcuffs off of players and get them to believe that they could do more, that like they could do the shit in practice that they could do in games.
Yeah,
And like I'll be honest with you, bro. Like that to me, that's where basketball is headed. If when you're 1 through 5, and now I can understand. I'm more at ease about some of these draft boards that I've seen from some of people in our that wave our flag in terms of Nets basketball, about Kamal Malawak and about Carter Bryant and about Nolan Trior, whatever fuck his name is.
hmm
So I'm more at ease about it because these guys, it seems like these guys want to be taught how to play the game the right way. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that from this Pacers team, because when you see guys like Nimhard, when you see guys like Neesmith, when you see guys like Miles Turner, Siakam, Halliburton, these are upbeat, serious guys. You know, they don't. It's nothing about them that you could really quite look at them and figure out. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing about them that you could look at and be like, damn, what does this guy do? Like they're all a big question mark. If you watching this team, if you watched this team before game one against what was labeled in OKC as the best defense, one of the best defenses that we've seen in years, one of the best net ratings that we've seen in years, one
Hmm.
of the best records that we've seen in years, MVP, one of the best seasons that we've seen in years. You would automatically think like normal people would normally think like I thought that this was gonna be a wash, and for 3 quarters it was. The fourth quarter, shit just got overcoached.
And you know what? I'm wondering when you said that about the MVP. I'm wondering because when I looked at the box score at the end, and I'm wondering, can they actually win with that one guy taking 30 shots and everybody else like only taking like a third of that or whatever? It's like because a lot of times that'll lead to a lot of standing around, you know?
Right. And I think we come into, you know what, LB, I'm glad you said that, because I think it's possible that we're coming to the end of the end of those days where teams are winning at a high level with one guy taking 30 something shots.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so
we're I
too.
think we are slowly coming to the end of that,
Yep.
because guess what? It's teams like Indiana that's gonna be built, and they're gonna trust 5 to 6 to 7 other guys to take 9 to 10 shots, and have combined shooting and have combined scoring. But the way it works, you have to have a sharing of the basketball. You have to have combined rebounding. You have to have combined defense, combined speed, running up the court. Everybody's got to be in sync. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I get a ball to you. Yo, you cut over here. I'm gonna run a double screen hedge. Listen, one of us gonna run out and one of us gonna cut. They not gonna double team us, bro. Like when you have teams that you cannot. First off, when you have teams that you can't double anybody, that makes the game much easier.
Much easier.
Much easier, because now they know everybody is a threat. If they don't have one dude sitting in the paint, because that one dude that can only get layups and dunks.
Right.
You know what I'm
Well,
saying? And when you, and this is why I said, bro, like even if Giannis does get traded, it's gonna be hard to build a team around him, because you need shooters, bro. He hasn't worked on his game enough to where he's an all around threat all over the court. We all know what he gonna do. He gonna dribble. He gonna lower the shoulder and drive.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dominant at it. Don't get me wrong. At 6'11", he's turned himself into a machine. What he has done in the last 6 years has been nothing short of amazing. But at the same time, it's easier and easier to game plan for that. The further along his career he goes, KD, bro, need to join me in the NAACP program. Retire. That's what he need to do, bro. I'm sick, bro. Yo, what is it about KD, LeBron, and Steph, bro? It's like, yo, they like the dudes that graduated 4 years ago and still hanging around
yeah,
campus.
yeah.
Like, why is y'all sucking up all the energy, all the air in the
Keep getting
room, bro?
older
Just
and the girls
leave.
keep getting younger and
They
younger.
should be
Yeah, the
And they
fine.
league is
think it's
getting younger
cute.
and younger, and y'all in y'all late 30s. Get the fuck out.
Did you hear? Did you hear Dwayne Wade talk about that? He said, "Man, how I knew it was time for me to give it up is when we was playing somebody,
They playing
and
Sacramento.
yeah, and I seen the young boys run by me. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers is quick. You know?
He said, "Yeah, I remember exactly what he said. He said, yo, when we was playing Sacramento, they had Buddy Hield and they had De'Aaron Fox. I swear to God, I'd never seen the ball move so fast up the court. In 3 seconds, they was up the court and getting shots up.
Right.
And I was like, yo, I gotta go. I'm out of here. I'm out of
But
here. I'm not Flash no more.
you know what that is. I mean, for me, the three of them, and I mentioned that on Breezy's thing last night. I said, yo, the three of them is shamelessly just padding their stats, hoping that over time that'll mean that they're the greatest ever because LeBron will have 60,000 points and Steph will have so many different records and KD will have more scoring because
That's
what
all
it
they doing.
is when
That's
you
all they
look at
doing
it
right now.
That's
outside
all
of
they doing.
LeBron outside of LeBron like two of the three and LeBron before this year or the last 2 years when you looked at them they're like over 35 years old, but they still averaging their career mark.
They
Right.
still, yeah, they
That's
still shooting the
crazy.
most
That's
shots on the
that's that's
team.
not because they're phenomenons. That's because the league is so watered down defensively.
No, and not, no, and not, and I'm gonna add another one to that. The league is watered down, but the thing is, they still have so much control because of name value.
Yeah,
Everywhere they go, bro, they have control. They still run. The Warriors still run everything through Steph.
Facts. Facts.
yeah,
They still run everything through Steph, bro. Steve Kerr don't know how to coach without him.
yeah.
When Steph Curry is out, bro, he is clueless.
They're
Yeah,
lottery
he,
team.
he lost.
At
He
this
is
point,
lost.
LeBron should be like six man sitting on a bench. You know what I mean? Talking to
LeBron
the
should
young
be at
boys.
home.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
LeBron
Courtside.
should, bro, LeBron, like real rap, bro. If LeBron is serious, bro, like he should be at home trying to figure out a billionaires group that he could team up with to get a goddamn team in Vegas, because
Right.
that's
You get your
ultimately
own
what he
team.
gonna do anyway.
Right. Get your own team. You should
Get your
be.
own team. Get your own team in Vegas, bro. And they probably gonna have you come back for maybe a year on some Jordan Wizard shit, and then you could like, bro. When Jordan came back to the Wizards, bro, come on, bro. Was we really excited for that?
Nah, I wasn't.
Like I was looking at Jordan, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Even though Jordan was phenomenal, bro,
Don't
when
get
he
it.
first
Yeah.
came back,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
up until that injury, bro, that he got in 0102 or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, damn. I'm like, Jordan could still play, man. It was just that itch. He still wanted to compete. But
Right.
the thing is, bro, like because of your name value and because of all of the negative stuff that come with, yo, okay, yo, all of the negative things that's been said about you over the years, even though you won 6 championships, it all comes back when you're not winning championships. When
Right.
you're not winning at that high level no more. When those 20 something points a game, when those 30 something points a game turn into 20 something points a game, and you still taking the most shots on the team because because of your name. You're living off of your name. You're pad and then what happens with that?
And
You
and
pad
and
stats
and,
off of your name.
Right.
and it stifled their organization because I don't know if y'all listen to them other dudes like what's his name what's his name? Those guys like Eton Thomas, like a lot of them guys that played, a lot of them guys. I think Chris Whitney. I was listening to a lot of them, a lot of them Washington Bullets or whatever they were back then, Wizards, but they were saying that Kwame was actually killing people in practice. Kwame
Yeah, he
Brown.
was.
Right.
They said, yo, he really definitely was killing people, but they had their agenda. Collins and Jordan had their agenda.
Hmm.
So that's what really they took away. They took away his confidence, they took away his heart, and then he just ended up you know changing into like, well, as long as I got my mama a house, I'm good. But they said, but he was killing people in practice. Nobody could guard him and everything. And
That's a fact.
Jordan's selfishness and Collins' selfishness with it, it took away.
Right.
You know.
Like the thing is, these players, bro, they don't realize that they eat that their name their name and their ego alone could get in the way of some of these young dudes that's trying to make the mark that they once tried to make when they first came into the league. When LeBron James first came into the league, bro, there was nobody in the way. There was no veterans trying to come back and trying to rekindle they glory days. There wasn't nobody out when LeBron came and made his debut in October and November of 2003. Guess what? Jordan retired in April earlier that year. Like there wasn't nobody in the way of him, bro. They make sure they cleared the lanes for this dude, bro, for the last 20 something years. And we seen what narcissistic behavior looks like. All you got to do is just look at LeBron
Well,
James.
let's say one thing. Let's say one thing, which would go like which would say this is LeBron's thing, his personality. When Kobe challenged him in that All Star game and said, "Yo, I'm a D your ass up. Let's go." LeBron couldn't accept the challenge. He Kobe punked him in that All Star
Of
game.
course not, bro.
Right.
We seen it in the late 2000s, bro, when LeBron when they had the most valuable puppets, and LeBron was supposed to meet up with Kobe in the finals, and was supposed to be that the young guard, the young understudy to break away from Kobe. He wasn't able to do that. So what you had years later, you had they started a gimmick. They started a marketing campaign and a gimmick around this BS GOAT conversation because LeBron padded enough stats. He was lucky enough to luck out and win a couple of titles, win 3 championships in one tournament, bro. Like, and now
But you know
all of a
what
something,
they
we
really,
got this, that, and the third.
and one of the things, since you said that gimmick, one of the things that I hated, and I still hate it to this day, because remember when they gave Bill Russell, now you win the Bill Russell Award for the finals or whatever, right? Meaning
Right.
you're the MVP or whatever. But so I said, but you disrespected him more by changing the All Star game from centers, forwards, and guards to now you just have bigs. Now you just
Just
have
front court
bigs,
and back
and
court.
you have bigs and backcourt. And,
Yeah.
and the only reason they did that was because when other guys started being really, really good, like you had, because you still had to have what was his name? Melo. You still had Melo, you still had LeBron, and then they like, this is the only way we could assure that LeBron will get in, because if you have a couple of guys that are as good as him, then we'll have to choose the center. So they
Right.
devalued the center, and then the center position, and then they just said, you know what, we're going with 3 bigs and 2 guards. And I'm
Right.
saying, and not only did they do that for the All Star game, but then they also did it for the All NBA.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but not only that, they also did it for the All NBA teams recently, because now all the teams now is players instead of positions. So that
That's
leaves
what
the
I'm
door
saying.
open
That's
for
stupid.
LeBron to still pad stat. LeBron and Steph Curry to still pad stats
He
and
got a
still get.
third team, right,
Yeah,
this
yeah. I
year.
think they don't know. They
He
got
got a.
second
No, I'm
team. They
saying
got second.
LeBron got a third team nod, didn't he?
LeBron got second team, and
Second team. See, that's
Steph
what
got second team.
now
Okay.
you
And no
telling
and
me.
no
Now
and
you
nowhere.
telling me there's not 2 forwards better than LeBron. I mean, there's not 3. No, let me say 4 or 5 better than LeBron. Come on.
Yeah, because and now the 65 game incentive is in, so LeBron's pretty much low manages on the court. The way he does it, bro, is he doesn't get back on defense. He takes naps on defense. He takes plays off, bro. Like, he'll stand around on offense, make sure he's still at midcourt so he can hurry up and get back down full court to get an easy layup or easy bucket. He runs himself out of energy, bro. Like, in the first couple of minutes, in the first 7 sprints of the game. He's out of energy because he's 40. He ain't 28 no more, bro. So he ain't flying up the court, beating nobody up the court no more. So he's 40. So once LeBron at age 40 get one chase down block, bro, like, and one leak out dunk, they be like, oh, LeBron still got it. Da 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 da. Well, what
Yeah.
they don't realize is the other minutes, bro, like, that he's standing
He's
around,
standing
and
around.
yeah, that he's being lazy, bro. Like, and then the
Yeah.
other team goes on runs because they got younger and faster players, bro, that are better and that has worked on their skills and that can shoot. And now you got teams with 5 shooters like
Right.
Indiana and stuff like that. Now you basically open the door, And a lot of these people that's so been on the LeBronies train for so long, they don't see what's going on. They don't
Right.
see it. They see it and then they ignore it because they looking at something else.
Yeah. The tapes don't lie.
House of highlights got them in the palm of their hands.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The box score got them in the palm of their hands. They're not watching the game. They're not analyzing the game enough, bro. They're basically just sitting there and they just decided to be trolls.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they just follow the ball. They don't see the whole court. That's what it is. If you could see the whole court, you will see LeBron in the middle of the court looking, you know,
Yeah,
then he don't have to run the whole court. Man,
exactly.
you see it. You see it. You see it.
And then when you point that out, you get the hater label, bro. Hate cannot be defined by words. It could be defined by actions.
Right.
You know
Exactly.
what, you saying that it reminds me of. You remember how Cat was getting dogged?
Oh yeah. Well, he
Oh,
was
the last couple of weeks he is getting
right.
dogged for his
Lack of getting back.
his drop defense. Remember,
Right. Right.
he kept dropping and letting dudes shoot.
Right.
That just reminded me of. That's how KD won those chips for Golden State because LeBron made sure he waited for the guard to come over and then he dropped back because he didn't want KD to bust that in his face, man. Pause. You know.
That's what it
Yo,
was. That's what it was. He didn't want KD to shooting his face and shooting his face. Pause. 2 years in a row, by the way, the same
Exactly.
damn shot, the same damn spot. It's the same 3-pointer, bro. Like two shots in a row, right over him. Cash
I
money records
I couldn't see Kobe or Jordan ever doing that.
nah, they
ever,
never,
ever.
never. I ain't never seen it. If you bust
Because
them, you bust them in their face. They made sure to be right there on.
LeBron has always been
He's passive aggressive.
he's always been a non-competitive opportunist.
Yeah,
He's
that's
always
passive
been that, bro.
aggressive.
Like
Yep.
he ain't never gonna go all in, and unless like on the only time he's gonna go all in, he has the energy to do it. Like he knows he's gonna lose, so let's just pad the stat sheet, man. Let's just get to my averages, so nobody could say it's my fault, bro, and all these other stuff. And when you tell the young kids this, bro, like you get labels, you get these one word descriptions of you, bro, like, and then they're acting like that shit is just not happening when everybody on YouTube sees it and everybody on YouTube is making videos about it, bro, and you're the only person ignoring this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that is what's happening. But hey,
that's
but
their guy. That's their player. You know what I mean? So you can't
I
say
mean, I
nothing.
get that shit player, bro, but at the same time, you gotta realize when your player is a piece of shit. You gotta realize
Yo,
it. You gotta realize it, bro. And the thing about it is, bro, like, listen, it's a weird thing to say, but game 2 is a must win for the home team.
yeah,
It's a must goddamn win for the home team
So
because
so
I
okay.
think Indiana has proven that if your offense is versatile enough, it don't matter what goddamn defense you going up against.
Yeah. Well,
OKC fans don't think that. They don't think that at all. They
Of
think
course they don't think that. They all young, bro. Most of them is under 30. Majority of them that come up in there that claim OKC they under 30. Have they been to Oklahoma? I'm going.
uh,
Do you know what Oklahoma is the shape of? It's the shape of a gun.
sure enough.
They call it the Shogun State.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna find out tomorrow night. That's for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we all gonna find out tomorrow, bro. Like, I mean, I only got OKC in 5 because I don't give a fuck about the series, and I think I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, as a Nets fan, bro, like, and as any other Nets fan, I think should be, bro. Like, we should want this shit over with fast. We ain't got no business watching no more basketball
yo,
unless it's
Nah,
we
nah. For
don't, bro.
me, for
We
me,
don't
I
deserve it.
wanted to go.
We
I'm
we don't
rooting
deserve
for.
it. We like we the only thing we need to be watching is the New York Liberty, who is 8-0, by the way.
yeah, right.
I'm still. I'm rooting for Indy, but I'm hoping it goes a long way because that allows my time to go by faster until the 25th.
The draft.
That is true.
You
That
know,
is true. That
I
is true.
can't stand. You know, how many times am I gonna? How many trades do I have to see John make? 28 different guys coming to
Yo,
the Nets
I ain't gonna lie,
because
bro. Like, listen, like,
Yeah,
oh man, some of the I don't know who who do they think our GM is, bro? Like, y'all really think he's this trade wizard, bro, and he's gonna get these deals to go down, bro? That's not who he is, bro. He's a paper pusher. He's a paper pusher understudy, bro. Like that's put there to that's put there so fans could point the blame at him instead of the owner. That's what he's put there for. He's been an idiot, bro. He's held down the same job for years because he's a little
you
man. He's a
know,
pawn.
you know what's crazy though about us. You know about us Nets fans. We the only team I see. We the only team I see where we care more about our GM than any other team. Like I don't see no Knicks fans saying, "Well, we believe in Leon Rose." I don't see no I don't see no one saying, "I believe in Palinka." I believe we're the only people that be defending our GM. Everybody else is just like, whatever.
no,
Just
no,
let
no,
the
no, no,
Nah,
players.
nah, we
no,
not.
no,
Listen, I don't
no,
know.
no.
I don't. You don't speak for no Nets fans up in here, bro. Like talking about defending the damn GM because I've never defended them, bro.
I
Like I
No,
want
think
I'm
them.
saying I'm talking about when you go up and down X.
When you go up and down Twitter and you go up and down social media, bro, you'll find. I think I think it's basically it's seemed to me to be a civil war between that aspect of it, and it seemed to be it's three things we at civil war with, bro. Right now, the owner, the GM, Cam Thomas.
Want to come find your ass, bro?
yeah, that Cam
There's three.
Thomas.
There's three.
Yeah,
There's three
yeah.
things, bro. We at civil war with as Nets fans, bro. The GM, the owner, and Cam Thomas.
Yeah, definitely Cam Thomas. I don't know.
That's there. We all like it is nothing but
Well, you
civil war.
know, I'm gonna say this about the GM thing is like, you know, like I mean I always follow basketball, so I know like who were certain GMs or whatever of certain teams and stuff. But what I'm trying to say is they only make it more important. Like I don't care about that. All I care about is my team winning and us winning. So it's like I could like if you didn't tell me Calvin Booth was fired, I wouldn't even know who the Denver GM was. I just know, oh, they put some people around Joker, and now they
Right.
winning. That's it. But I'm saying for us, we act like, oh, we believe in Sean Marks. In Marks we trust. And I'm saying I see all of this stuff, and I'm like, y'all are crazy.
Yeah,
Nah,
very,
man. You
very,
know why? You know why? Because we ain't got nothing else to talk about. You know what
and
I
not a
mean?
damn thing, bro. Like I mean, and this is one of the reasons, bro, why I try to navigate to the Liberty because now as Nets fans, bro, we can all see how winning is done. We can all see how team structure is done. We can all see how excellence is done. We can all see what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is what glory looks like. This is what the finish line looks like, Nets fans. Look at it. It happened in our goddamn building, and y'all ignoring it. Why, bro? Because it ain't the NBA. It happened right in Barclays Center, and it's one of the biggest moments in the history of that building already. I've been in Brooklyn since 1988, and I'm about to leave Brooklyn for the first time in my life for good in another month. What I want people to understand, bruh, is this shit ain't about us being better than a team across the damn bridge. It's about us being better than the other goddamn 29 teams.
What state?
I'm pretty sure the Indiana Pacers, bruh, thought that the whole time, but nobody else did.
What,
Probably nobody else in Indiana did.
what state
They
is about?
believed it.
What state is about to claim you?
Texas.
Uh-oh. Okay. Man,
But
you know
but but
what?
I mean
You know what? I was so
no
fortunate.
no no. I really gotta say, technically it's really three states, but because I'm like in the radius of it, it's really Oklahoma, Texas, and New Mexico, because that's right. Like I'm gonna
Oh,
be in between that.
all right. Because I spent, I'm getting ready to go down to Texas around around early July. But I spent 3 years down there, and the great thing about while I was down there, it was from '08 to 2010 when we had our 12 and 70 season.
Right.
I was
Right.
glad,
So
and you know what?
that way you could stay
I
down
was
there. You could just sleep it off. You'd be like, all right,
exactly,
man, we in the shitter.
and you know
And
what?
when I
You
ain't
know
got
what they was
like
doing
nobody
in
know I'm a
Houston?
Nets fan, so I'm cool.
You know what they was doing in Houston? That
What?
was when they were calling
Harder?
Mac. They were calling T Mac Stacy McLady.
Oh.
Oh yeah, they damn sure was calling him that.
And this dude is great. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
Stacy
scared of what I
McLady.
know.
They only called him that because he kept getting injured in the postseason.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So I remember that.
Like,
But
wow, man, wow.
yeah, the part of Texas that I'm going to, I'm very very close to Oklahoma and very
Yeah,
very
so
close
you in
to
the
New
north?
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the like the
I,
northwest
yeah.
part of
Oh, okay.
Texas.
Well,
Yeah.
Texas is the largest population of African Americans.
It is. Shit,
Yeah.
it might be the largest collection, bro, as a state of humans, bro. Like I don't know, bro. Shit, I mean,
Yeah.
Texas is big as shit, bro. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
ain't gonna
about the
lie to you,
size of
bro.
some
Like you're
countries.
driving Texas, bro, in a day and 2 days go by, you'll still be in Texas.
Yeah.
Shit, that's serious, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's the largest of some countries, yes.
Oh yeah, yes it is. It's one of the largest countries
It's
one of the
still a
largest
republic.
states, one of the largest states in the country, bro. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
is, it
still a
is.
republic too.
It is still a republic. Well, I mean, but I'm not planning to stay. It's just temporary. My actual state of interest is Nevada, not necessarily Las Vegas, bro. I mean, I'm more of a keep quiet, go to Reno 911 type of motherfucker, bro. Like, I mean, I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
mean,
forgot Reno is in Nevada, right?
Reno is in Nevada. Yeah, yeah,
Right, right.
Reno, cool. I mean, as long as I don't land in Arizona, because Arizona got too many of us right now as it is. It's a lot of people from Brooklyn running around, going out to Arizona, Scottsdale, shit, bro. You can miss me with that, man. I'd rather stay in a tax-free state. I can move around, do certain shit. I'm cool. I do my thing, be quiet. I mean, come on. I could go somewhere where nobody knows that I'm a Nets fan. So
Right.
because we in the shit anyway. So I mean, like, all right, it is what it is.
Well, we got a 2-year plan. I think it's a two-year
I don't
plan.
think I don't really think we got a plan at all.
I hope so.
I think we just winging it, bro. Like there's no plan. Like nobody has a plan.
That guy, that
That guy
Sean
doesn't
Marks.
have a plan.
Sean
That's
Marks.
not somebody that strikes me as a plan setter.
Nah, he got a plan. It's just how he chooses to execute it makes it look like he don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? He divert
That's why it
immediately.
ain't no damn
You know what I
plan.
mean? And throw it away and be like, no, let's scrap that right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's go with this.
Exactly. Like, well, I'm supposed to believe in this dude's plan, bro. Like, and he's scrapping it the second that it looks funny. You made it. How many times you gonna keep scrapping the shit? You made the damn plan.
Yeah. I ain't no fan, but I mean, I think Sean, he has done some good things. He has
Like,
taken chances. Yeah.
like,
He took grave.
like.
The only thing I say is he took grave chance with getting Kyrie and Durant. That was a good move.
But that wasn't his move. That was two players' decision. They
But
chose us.
yeah, but he still had to make it happen.
I mean, what was he gonna say? No.
He could have.
I
He
wouldn't
was
say
gonna
no,
say no.
He
but
could have.
he could
You
have,
know,
He
or
could
just
have.
he could have, but he didn't. He talked the owner into it
Boy, you know what?
because he had to
Whatever.
give up all them picks. He gave
What?
up mad picks, man. He
He
gave
said,
up
"Nah,
mad
you know
picks
what?
to
I'm
do
gonna
it.
go with Jared Dudley
Whatever we
instead."
want to talk ourselves into believing in terms of how Katie and Kyrie got here doesn't matter anymore, bro.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
what's done is done.
It's over.
The demolition has been done. The process has been done, bro. Like we didn't squeeze out a crazy 5 year, 6 year period into two dudes that was gonna eventually be in their 30s, which they are now, because Kevin is clear as day that Kevin Durant needs to fucking retire.
He does, but
He,
let me.
he can't he can't lead anybody anymore. He can't carry anybody anymore. You can't fit in anymore, bro. Like because like they see you and they see food. These young dudes see you and they see food.
How many seasons Kevin Durant been in the league?
Since 2007.
2007.
Yes, it's almost 20 years. It's 18. It's about to be
Yo,
18 years.
Scott, did you hear those
That's a long
reports? Did
time.
you hear
That is.
those reports about us facilitating the deal, and then we end up with Bradley Beal?
Oh hell no. We better not.
Yeah, yeah. On that note,
Somebody,
let me
somebody.
charge my.
I think somebody is. I think somebody is bullshitting us. I
Nah,
really.
they brains running like Dylan's be. You know what I mean?
Hey,
All these
ain't
trades they
nobody.
done.
There's no
Yeah,
way in the world they want Bradley Bill. No way in the world. No
they
way in the
might
world.
though, because just to get that you know what I'm saying? They ain't got to do too much with the roster. Take the contract and wait till it runs out, or buy him out, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
But I mean, what good is that going to do us?
Clear up more
I
cap
don't
space.
know the
Clear up
particulars
cap
of it.
space?
Yeah, whatever he got, or he'll take up our cap space till he goes back. You know what I mean? So whatever we got, so that if they don't have somebody to sign that they want to, you know,
Right.
just say they don't have a player they want to sign this season, and we got just rookies and the rest of the guys that we usually have. That'll take up most of the cap space. That way, you know what I'm saying? We meet whatever we got to meet for the NBA as far as using you got to use as much cap as you have.
Yeah, you have to meet a certain amount, right?
Yeah, so maybe that's what it could be if they are interested. I doubt it though. You know what I mean? But we'll see. That's what it would do if
Yeah,
he was.
because I mean they only halfway there, regardless. They got to give Cam Thomas something. His contract going to be up. He'll fill in some of that. I
Now I'm
mean,
saying if we did do that to facilitate, I don't know how long Bill's contract is, but I know it's expensive, but it's like gonna be 60 million or something, right? So, but if we did do that, why would we keep Cam Thomas?
yeah, but I would rather keep Cam Thomas than Bradley Bill.
No, because Brad wouldn't stay. I mean, Brad to stay, but he wouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? He wouldn't be doing too much.
Oh no, I'm just saying while he's here, he could do what Cam Thomas does, but I'm thinking maybe we could get more value for Cam Thomas that way.
No, because then you will have to find another Cam Thomas once Brad is done. You know what I mean? you know, that's the problem with that. You have to find another. You know
it's
what I'm saying?
almost it's almost a terrible way of doing things. It's like a
Yeah,
repetitive thing. You're gonna
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
repetitive
somebody
now
mentioned
because you're
us.
gonna
You
be
know,
constantly in that loop.
here's another deal that somebody mentioned. It was funny to me because they said we'll take Dean Wade from the Cavs and for two second round picks. We give them 2 second round picks for Dean Wade, and that allows Cleveland to get under the second apron. And I'm like, why should we care about Cleveland?
Cleveland being under the second apron.
And then
They just want the second round picks. That's all. People just greedy these days. You know what I
well,
mean?
I'm saying like, who's better? I'd rather have, please. Clowney's better. I don't know. I
Well,
don't.
we and I mean personally speaking, we have a lot of people who throw out a lot of things for us to do, and it's not going to happen. I just know it's not going to happen, but they just like to make trades. Like John. John,
They
I love John. I love John to death. But John ready to make trades just to be making trades sometime.
Yeah, they ain't got nothing else to do because you know what I mean. As far as like that's why I'm not good at that, and that's not where my mind be at. I need to see the talent, but everything else that goes on, I can't predict what goes on. You know what I mean? But I can tell you what I see on the court
Yeah,
and then players. You know what I mean? That financial stuff and trying to guess how to make this work and make this work and trade this player here. We could get that's too much, man. That's too much work for my brain.
you
Yeah.
depending on somebody else to play the game with you,
You facts?
which you can't. You cannot make that determination. I understand trades are part of it, as in the case like our rivals across the river who need somebody on the bench. They need a bench. They need to be worrying about a bench.
Well, you know what's crazy? The irony is they fired a guy when he actually played more people off his bench than ever before.
He had no choice at that
I
time.
know, but it also like I guess management might have been looking at it like, see, these guys could really play, and you didn't play them all year. But then he could also look at it as like, oh, they can play. But I would have kept Tibbs myself. But hey, I guess they'll figure out. You know what old school Peter Vesey said, right?
What he said.
He said Jay Wright is hiding in plain sight.
Oh,
He said they might offer him something like 15 mil a year. I could see that because that's the Villanova connection.
sure enough. Yeah, I
They
can see
better
that.
have that Villanova money. Somebody gotta get paid this summer.
Yeah, they better have some money for the rest of the Villanova crew.
Yeah.
The Knicks are in a bad situation, man, and I mean to say that.
And
I,
what's the name got to get in shape, man, because he played remarkably offensively.
yeah, but his
Cat
defense,
cat, but
is
but
terrible.
even if you look at his body, man, it's like, yo, you're not even in shape, man.
But I think that's just. I don't think that's ever
Only he's
going.
29 years
Yeah,
old.
that ain't changing.
No, I'm saying he can. I'm saying he need to get in shape, man. Because look, when you don't, that's what happened to Embiid, right? When you constantly just not in shape, that's when you get hurt
That's
all
when you
the time.
break down. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's what it is. It's like, man, I mean, that's the one thing you can respect about LeBron is like, yo,
yeah. He's a
he
gym
gets
rat.
himself in shape.
He
He
keeps himself in shape.
Yeah, and he makes sure he hides them steroids well. And I'm sorry, did I say that? Okay, but you know what I'm
He's in
saying?
shape, but he just now I don't think he's winded enough. That's because he's older. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, nah, yeah,
you lose
nah,
a
yeah.
little
But
wind.
I'm saying, but when I look at guys, it's like, because look, my all-time favorite net, he never really dedicated his himself to keeping his body in shape. Derek Coleman,
Right, right.
and it's like it's a shame of what he could have been,
Yeah.
based on that, and that's what I'm saying. So now you got to see that's part of the game, that's part of the profession, But hey, we'll see what happens with that. But do you see anyone slipping?
Well, in the draft?
Yeah,
Mm,
I don't see
no,
fear slipping to us.
I wish people stopped talking about fears because I want them to slip,
Me
but
too.
but
Yeah, yeah, that's
it
funny.
ain't gonna
Ice.
happen.
Every time somebody posted a video, I'm like, shh. I'm doing the shush emoji and saying, don't share this.
Right, right.
See,
Keep hot, man.
the thing is, the teams in front of you, quite a few of them in your division, they will pick them just so you won't get them.
Washington.
Yeah,
Washington is the
Well, you
main
know
one
what it is.
thinking.
They know that Marx is a herb. They know that if we say we'll pick him, we could probably get some more stuff from the Nets.
right.
Yeah. Like, nah, don't take our guy. We're gonna trade this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the game is rough. The game at GM is rough. It's a rough game.
But
I
I
feel sorry
see,
for them
I
guys, but
see.
I really don't.
Let me see. I see, but I do see what's the name falling too like that. Ace.
Right. I see Ace falling back.
He shouldn't. I
He
would
shouldn't,
still
but
take him third, but
would you pick him if he falls to eight?
oh, definitely. I'm
Oh,
saying I would listen. I'm not against. Ice might be against this. I don't know, but I'm not against taking on the Paul George contract and getting Ace.
Ace. No,
Yeah,
I ain't. I'm with it. They asked me on TikTok. I'm with that. If I get somebody like Paul George to teach Ace, I'm with it, bro. You know what I mean? That'll only make him better.
it's a three. He got 3 years left, right?
oh,
Yeah.
Paul George.
Yeah.
Two. I think it's two.
Oh, if it's two, that's even better.
Yeah.
By then we'll be ready to be good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And
Two
he's
years, he'll be done, and then you'll be ready to. You know what I'm saying? You're ready
I
to take the
might
next
I
step
might be
somewhere.
willing for that. I might be willing for that. To move
I
up. Yeah.
would, you know,
Yeah, to move up.
and then but I wish we could still keep our eighth too, though.
But I but if I did move up, I wouldn't want Paul George.
Huh?
I wouldn't tell I mean I wouldn't want Ace.
Who
I
would
would
you want
I'll still take Fears.
at three?
Yep. I think we need a
Oh,
point guard, man.
yeah, yeah. I think I would
I
take
think
eight.
we need a point guard more than anything else. Look, when you look at like a team like, say for instance, the Pacers.
I knew you was going there.
Yeah, because if you look at Benedict Matherin,
Yeah, I
2
remember.
years in the league.
Yeah.
Nemhard, 2 years in the league.
Hmm.
These are like wing type defenders. They not real tall, 6'6",
Yeah,
6'5", six, like that. They
yeah,
6'5". They that tweeners. They not really guards, but
yeah,
they like shooting guards, but they play the fast game.
yeah.
This is what the league is. I mean, this is what you want. There's plenty of that in this draft. There's plenty of that in this draft. It's just not in the top draft. For some reason, point guards and centers is why the unicorn is a center. And the reason why I say
Yeah,
the unicorn is the center is because you can be good, and for some reason, centers, people that 6'11", 6'10", like that, they get injured a lot. They're unicorns because if they got their game tight, they can make changes on the court for sure. I see Ace as that unicorn? He could be, but it's gonna take a while. But here, Nemhart and Matherin are making waves early, right away.
all
Well,
right.
I
So
think
let me ask Ice, who would who would you say is his fears ceiling comp?
I don't know what his stealing is. I don't know, but I know.
Like, I mean, I know he's not as athletic as like Ja, but what do you think his ce-
Oh, like as far as his comp to be like, yo,
yeah,
you know, Gary. I think Gary had it right when he said Stephon Marbury is like his comp, right? Small guard, athletic, damn near do everything, you know what I'm saying? But as far as his where you know what I mean, his trajectory, I couldn't tell you what he would be like. But and there's people that think he's like there's people that I seen with what's them dude, the Barlow brothers said
yeah,
on their podcast that he could be in the long run, he might be end up better than Dylan Harper.
yeah. I saw that, but I don't the reason, and shout out to Gary and his podcast as well. But the thing is, Marbury was very physical.
Yeah.
Lee Fears might be a little taller, but Marbury he was a freaking specimen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But when you watch the gameplay as far as how Marbury was scoring and how he drives off the dribble,
Oh
like
yeah, nah, he was highly skilled. He was
yeah,
highly skilled and a specimen. That's why I'm like thinking maybe Fears is just highly skilled.
right. But yeah,
I
that's what
don't
I'm
I
talking about.
don't think he got that physicality.
Nah, he's physical. He's physical. When he
Okay.
drives to the basket, he use all shoulder to get you out the way, bro. And
Now
it don't
that's a
look like
good
it.
comp. That's a good. I mean, like if it's that's a praiseworthy comp. But what
Yeah,
I'm saying is now, who's your ceiling comp for Ace?
Dylan. Oh man,
For
yeah,
Ace, if
I
it's
don't.
if it's T Mac,
Nah, I see
Mhm.
the thing with that. I think he only has like a small part of Mac. I don't see a full thing of Mac with him.
nah, he don't have the handles like him.
Yeah, nah, but I don't know. I think it's probably to me it's probably somewhere around PG, somewhere around Paul George or better. You know what I'm saying? I think
All
that's
right,
where he's at.
all right. So now, if you saying that out of the two, just going off of your comparison, I'd
Uh huh.
rather have Marbury than PG.
Okay.
But if
Okay.
it was T Mac, I'd rather have T Mac than Marbury.
No, I heard. I still heard somebody. I heard NBA players say they think he is the closest thing to T Mac that we've seen. So I don't necessarily think he would be that, but I like it's like almost they think he's like a multi. He could be a superstar. What some people think. Like he
That's
has.
what I think. There's something about there's something about when you watched him and you saw how he could score. I mean, regardless of when he had, shots that he had to take, but when you
Uh,
saw how he could score and how easily it came to him, it's like, man, it's like to me that was amazing watching him. Like I was more impressed with him than Dylan.
Yes. 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 Somebody else too. One of the homeboys I talked to, and I heard multiple people say this, but they said Carmelo Anthony. They remind him. He reminds them of Carmelo, where he doesn't need that many dribbles. He can do a one dribble pull up all the time and constantly score on you without doing too much. And
Yeah,
I see that, and I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is his real like? What is his game though? Like, because he got a lot of little pieces of good NBA
yeah,
stars and shit, but I don't know exactly who he is. You know what I mean?
yeah. And see, the thing is, when I saw what's his name for the first time, when I saw AJ DeBonster, I said, "Now he reminds me of T Mac."
And when you told me that, I went back and watched it. And I seen it. I'm like, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, that's right. He is closer than Ace to T Mac
Yeah,
than they. You know what I'm saying? The way that he moves, he operates, he jumps, he scores is like similar to T Mac.
but so now going back to these, I mean, it would be great if either one. But I'm now so for now what Scott is saying, if we did facilitate that trade, we took off that 50 something million. Oh, Scott, we're gonna have to give up a lot of salary. So that might be it's either Cam Johnson or Claxton or both. See, to me, look, this is what I would say. Cause what's the name makes 50 something and the two of them make 50 combined, right?
Right.
So like I'm not like John where I'm trying to wait for the perfect trade or something, but I would say I would give up Clax and Cam Johnson for Ace and for that third pick and Paul George if we didn't have to give up the eighth pick.
Oh yeah,
Well, that'd
yeah,
be yeah.
yeah. They want the eighth pick for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I would love to keep that eighth pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
I
then
mean,
you
even if
really
I gave them the 26 and
The third and
27,
the eighth, that would be
even
an
if I gave them
outstanding
the
thing. But
last two picks, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, give them the last two. But yeah,
So
yeah.
they could have some depth.
they can
Because
have
you
the
are
19th
giving
if they
them,
want
you
to, and
are
one of
giving
them.
them damn near two starters.
Yeah, you're giving up
Yeah,
two. You're
yeah,
giving
you
up
are
in the
giving
top
two
10,
starters.
two top tens.
Yeah, so yeah, they would want eight, but if you didn't, then you and you gave a class, you would have to draft a center. You would have
See,
to get one.
see the problem is Philly wouldn't want us to be
Good
drafting two fucking top 10 picks.
lottery. Yeah, yeah,
Why would
Yeah,
they?
yeah, that is the
This is the
problem.
thing with Milwaukee and the Knicks. Milwaukee don't want to give you fucking Giannis for 50 cents on a dollar.
And have to see him four times. Yeah.
What make you think that's? You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I mean, as a, I'll be fired as a GM. I might as well pack my shit. I might as well have my shit ready because it's just a matter of time. That don't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
But out of those guys that's sliding, I don't want them. And the thing is, I really like the Maryland kid. but that's too high for what because you gotta. Pod is right. Pod Thorne is right when he says you gotta change too much of your game for Queen.
Yeah, here,
Saying,
Washington. I mean, Washington or Pelicans really. I think the Pelicans really want him, and I think Washington wants the center from Duke.
Okay.
so that
Molly
does.
Malawak.
So then who's sliding down then?
It
So give me that quick eight. Then give me that quick eight. You saying
uh
Cooper,
Coop, Dylan, Ace, VJ, Trey, and then is your choice between Fairs, Queen, Maluach.
but you're saying maybe those two will want Mayuwatch and Queen, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's what that's what they're saying. Like they want those teams want to run double bigs because they most likely got
yeah,
some type of team already, right? But like I was saying, with Fair's so hot that he's making them, you know what I'm saying, rethink.
I know because Washington is like we good with Bub, but they know Fierce is better.
Right. And they ask themselves the question now that if we take him, what we got Fairs, we got Bob, and we got Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? Like what are we doing? You know what I mean? And they want to run. They want to put SARS at the if they put SARS at the four and get Maluach and run the double big lineup because they think
Got
Maluach a
yeah,
rim protector.
He is.
yeah.
He is a good rim protector.
That in that scenario, he could fall to us.
Yeah, he
Fierce.
could. It all depends on what they do, and that's what makes it difficult because you don't know if he really changed their mind that much. You know what I mean? Because Washington
Are
did.
there
Oh,
any? So now, is there any incentive for us to trade up even two
I
spots,
don't. I
one
don't.
spot?
I don't really. I hate to do it. You're almost in a rock between a rock and a hard
Like
place.
I would do it. I would move up to six if all it took us was we'll give you the eighth and we'll give you our 26 and 27. Because I don't really
Hmm.
care about the depth.
I
I
give
do.
you the eighth and one of them. Those
You're
Now
right.
I'm saying if you
and
know
one
you're
of
getting
those late
fears,
picks.
if you know you're getting fears and you still got your 19th.
I give them one. And
Yeah,
listen, if they willing to deal, like Washington or any one of them willing to deal, then they know they not picking up fears. They trying to get
Yeah,
another
they're
pick.
trying
Right.
to
They don't. They
to
know
keep
they wouldn't
yeah,
really want him. That's who we want. They know that.
yeah.
Because Fears worked out with Brooklyn. They know Brooklyn wouldn't mind that Brooklyn's looking at a guard.
All right.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, we want a center too, but we willing to, pick pick later for
Yo,
that,
I
or
posted.
or a wing.
I posted today on TikTok and on I don't know if y'all seen it on Twitter. The players that they worked out 10 or 11 point guards.
Right.
They're only two on they only worked out two wings, the Con Knuckle and my boy Neat Clifford. And
Clifford.
those are the only two and they all like seniors too. The other than Fairs and those three at the top, everybody else was close to being seniors
Right.
Wow.
that they worked out as far as point guards. But it was like 10 point guards on the list.
Yeah, they want a guard. Trust me, they do.
Yeah,
But the thing is, like you said, Washington wants to go double big. They wouldn't mind picking up Malawak,
right.
but they don't. They know they got. You know how you sitting there and you waiting for this phone to ring
Yeah.
because they want Brooklyn to ring this fucking phone because they know they're going to get They're going to
All
get
right.
a
So let's
center
say
and another pick. That's what they
what you
want.
saying is if either of those teams takes Fierce, then we got to take the big, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Unless they want to leave the big on the table and grab Noah Senga, that would be the only you know what I'm saying, the only other pivot move they could do because either grab a big or grab a Senga.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Singer, yeah.
Yeah, they can take a Senge and then grab a big and another. They can grab another guard later further down, which are
That's what they
bigger.
would have to
They
do.
bigger guards. There's bigger. There's going to be bigger guards later down.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people that they can pick.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
if they get a Senga, it's
And then
yes,
I'm gonna stay pat and take all my picks. That's all. I use
Yeah,
all
'cause
my picks.
yeah,
At
'cause
that
the
point,
Sunday.
it don't make no
What I,
sense
what
to
I wonder
even doing
is,
anything
what I wonder is if we keep all our picks, and then we end up like with just, like,
to
'cause I'm
to
always like a best potential player available type of person. But I'm saying even if we pick all our, if we say okay, we getting the same way. Now we're getting with 19, we getting like um Renault or Sorba, or one of those, right?
right,
And then we get in our last two, whoever, I mean, the last three, right? The 27, 26, 27, and 36, I think, right?
right.
Yeah,
Getting all those guys. Now, what I'm saying is,
What are we gonna
if
do with all
any of
that?
them guys is any good, that means I might have to turn around and trade a Clowney or something.
Or trade one of them?
not. 'Cause what I was saying, if they draft someone like Nick Clifford or even Colin Knuckle, if they end up winning,
Yeah,
like I said, my dude, what's my guy, Tyrese Martin, he's
Right.
gone, bro. Because
yeah,
they're going to be both of those dudes are better than
yeah,
Jalen Williams and
yeah,
Tyrese
yeah, yeah,
Martin.
yeah.
Like they're gone, bro. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
definitely. But that's what I'm saying. We still gotta, you know, we don't want to, like, what I'm trying to say is if we get Clowney's replacement, like say we get Fleming or something like that.
Right.
If we get his replacement, we can't just have him languishing on the bench at, you know.
No. No, but
No.
you can always use a wing. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that they can always use that. He can go down to the G League as far if there's no room
But I
on
mean,
the
that's a
bench.
waste, man.
But I
I
mean,
mean, while we tanking, it's not a waste. But I'm
no, it's
just
not.
saying,
It's not really a waste because he ain't going into the fire. Yeah, I mean, it's just a possibility.
yeah.
That's all.
But and I got to say one other thing is I know Dylan from Press. I think he said his phone was dying.
Right, right.
All right, so let's keep it moving. Yeah, because I'm gonna be out soon too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting ready to
Yeah,
get off.
but
So
I just wanted to say
go
something
ahead.
about um, Dylan. He's high on Sorba, and
Right.
every time I went back and watched,
I watched them
I
too.
watched two Sorba games, and he didn't really impress me.
He just, yeah. It
I know
it,
he's
it don't
impressed
jump.
me.
It don't jump off to me to be. He should be a late first round pick because
Yeah,
of
I
his
like Renault
size.
better than him,
I do too.
and I can't say that I didn't like Kalkbrenner better than him.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
matter of
I
fact, the
mean, it
dude,
wasn't
the dude on what's the guy that we have on St. John's? I liked him better than him.
right.
So I'm saying, but I know Dylan's high on him on Sorba, and he's like,
Yeah. He's high on them.
and I'm like, I don't see him
I
being,
don't see it neither. I really don't. But maybe he sees something I don't know.
you
But
know,
I don't see it as
I'm getting like Othello Harrington type vibes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah.
Not even Greg Monroe. You know what
He
I'm saying?
needs to go to the right team. If he goes to the right team, maybe he'd be all right. But I don't see it. I don't see them picking him up. I really don't.
Yeah, so but that's my take on him. So that's
Yeah.
why when he's saying him, I'm like, man, I'd just rather get, better players. I'll take Carter Bryant over him. I'll definitely take I'd like to have Fleming. I like Fleming's combo of athleticism plus the three.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I want him bad.
Feel like
I
he'll
want
be
him.
gone in
I
the
want
top
him
15.
earlier. But a lot of people are saying don't take him at 19. I would take him at 19, but
Cool.
Fleming,
Oh, now I'm hearing that he might be gone in the top 15.
right? Which
They,
is
they
some kind of
also think what's the name will be available later. Ray, no, but I don't think so.
I
I
don't think
believe
so neither.
like them Barlow brothers. I believe, he's gonna be picked in the top 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
This draft
hard.
is
That's
it's hard.
7'1", that's 7 feet size, man.
Yeah.
So who knows?
All right, man.
All right,
Thank
man.
you,
So
LB,
thanks a
for
lot,
being
man.
here. Like and subscribe. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
Good night.